started, we had so many, so many places to go. We started getting bored. Sometimes we started playing games. I started doing impressions of Bill Clinton. He started liking it. He was like, oh, yeah, that sounds just like me. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds great. I like that. He invited me to Africa, man. He invited me. He said, Tucker, you want to go to Africa with me? I think you'll like it. You black? I'm black. I think you'll like it. Come on. It'll be fun. Come on. So I started doing the impressions, man. Everybody was
Wait, you have a normal chat? Two nipples? Can we see your body, bro? Take your shirt off.
no.
Ladies, you want to see a sexy body? Yo, Chinese, he just started black.com. What's up?
I probably gonna be the strip up in shit. This is crazy.
No, I'm not gonna like
for the white man, probably. That's fucked up, dog. We in Texas now, nigga. It's not California no more, man.
Yeah. That's how you get jobs in LA. Take your shirt off. You wanna be on the Jam in the Band show? What's your favorite thing about the venue? Oh shit. Cam, everything else is good in life? You're a star.
Yeah, everything else good, man. My dad still going everywhere we go, you know what I'm saying? It's cool to be able to do road with him, you know what I'm saying? My dad like 97, so it's good to get on the road with him.
He was?
Not 97, I just like saying he's 64, so it's good.
You need something, huh? When you ride, let me know.
It's cool that he gets to call me and see what's going on. He don't put that believe in it in the beginning.
I'll bring it by.
He's better be on the road every week.
John, your dad's cool as hell. I talk to him on the phone once a week.
Oh, yeah, y'all
Having
go.
Cam under my wing. It's the first time I've had like it's basically like having an elite college athlete. Like his dad calls, he's like, all right, so we got this out for this shit. What do you think we should do here?
Rena, please stop. Mike, lay your ass down.
Agent, this manager, this I just get constant. It's like I'm part. Yeah. Part. I'm part of the footage. Every time I call you, I'm like, fuck you. I'm just asking Tony, fuck you, nigga. I'm just calling Tony, fuck you. Tony, what the fuck going on, bitch? I'm glad to answer. And it's true. So now that you're famous, you have siblings. What if it had? I already had it before. So you have some family members that you didn't get along with before. Now that you're famous, now they're on your dick or what? Oh, no, I got a lot of family members. I can see a lot. They always come around. Yeah, but I mean, that's what happened because shit started popping out. Like, cut it off or something. That's how it starts. It starts with 30. Yeah, let me get 30,000. Get your guy. So let me ask you this. Since Hans Kim made it and also he's dating a white girl, are you made it now? You're dating a white chick? Nah, yeah, they still kind of scary, but I fuck with you. I fuck with smart. Smart. No settling down. Yeah. Don't put yourself through that. If your heart tells you that you really like somebody, your heart is wrong. Just keep 24. 24, yeah. Yeah, he's beautiful. This is scary. Take your shirt off. Now you beautiful. Cam, you're a star. We love you. You did it again. Another new minute from Cam Patterson.
Not back to follow. Yeah, man in the middle, I think. One more time for Cam Patterson. All right, very exciting stuff. Your next bucket full is on the inside this room. So if one of you signed up, you have a chance right now. Make some noise for Evan Lightnacker, everybody. Evan Lightnacker. Lightnacker, perhaps? We got Ivan out there? Ivan is coming. Evan Lightnacker. We having fun out there, huh? How many of you like it when comedians do good on this show? How many of you like it when comedians do bad on this show? All right. Well, good for you. Well, here's Evan Lightnacker, everybody. One more time for Evan, everybody.
This is going crazy. So I live in a small town in northern Michigan, and I happen to go to the grocery store like 5 times a week. Always go to the grocery store. I never know what I want to eat. So the other day I was at the grocery store and I was fucking high as shit. I'm walking around, like in the freezer section. And I hear, Evan, please come to customer service. Back in my pocket, something that I did. What am I doing? So I go up to customer service. I go, hey, what's up? They're like, what's going on? Well, you guys just called me and come up here. And the guy looked down at his name tag and looked at me and looked at them. I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ. So I'm that high. Thank you. Thank you. Wild,
Yeah, it was terrifying. What? Up here? Or
No,
at the grocery
at the grocery store, and they said, Evan, come to customer service.
You know that that's like a normal thing. Like you told like a normal story that could happen to anybody on any given day. Like if I was at a grocery store and somebody said, Tony, come to the front, I would assume they were talking about Tony Siciliano from earlier tonight. Like I mean, it's not that big.
It's a very small town. So I just assumed, oh, well, you know, I know some of the creators, I know the customer service people, and I'm coming to town. It's like,
But you didn't know Evan. You didn't know the Evan that worked there.
yeah, right.
You didn't know that everybody's in a small town. What's the funny part?
I don't know.
Even if all those things are true, what was supposed to be funny? What made you think that?
I don't know.
German food way more delicious, and they kind of would have left. Like, oh, maybe you feel more comfortable with another barbecue. Maybe in Hollywood or New York, far from here. Please leave. That's what I came up with. 57 seconds. We see who wears the funny pants in this friendship. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Absolutely incredible. So Spencer, welcome to the show. Talk right into the tip of that microphone. Okay. How's it going? Pretty nervous. Yeah. Dream come true. That was your first time on stage too. Yeah. And it went really well for you. I like to think so, yeah. Most importantly, it went really... You fucking murdered, dude. Yeah. You fucking murdered. You came up there and fucking murdered. After your friend drank a cup of his own warm sperm up here. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. I knew it was going to go that way. Oh, you did? What are you, a fucking psychic? Well, then you should have known that your 60 seconds was going to go that way, too. And written something different. So, Spencer, what do you do for a living? I'm a brewer and a volunteer firefighter. Hell yeah, look at you, an American hero, everybody. Show us up with food. Wow. Is that firefighting, huh?
I'm on the clock. What you want? Some wheels?
What you do is that where you found your friend and someone would say that a pussy was stuck in a tree? No, we've been friends forever, but no, we do a lot of stuff. Projects and house fires and all that kind of stuff. You know that
I'll bring it by. Okay, I got stuff to do.
In Israel right now.
Hey.
You know that? Pass on that. Yeah. I don't know if you heard his material, but I don't think he's gonna fight for Israel. That was a, he said pass before I fucking said the word Israel. Wow. I don't think I'm fucking moving to Austin. Fuck this place. Going back to California where it's cancers and shit. These guys are from Michigan, so you're getting married? No, I was his best man at his wedding. Oh, yeah. Fucking wedding. They look like a couple. Kind of, don't they? I live in Montana now. This was a trip to meet each other somewhere. Shut up. I'm over you. I'm talking to Spencer. Spencer's. I don't know too good. Spencer, here you are. How long have you been in Austin? 4 days. How long are you out here? We're leaving tomorrow morning. We're leaving tomorrow morning. So this was a big full Tony trip. Here you guys are on the stage. And you guys came together, just the two of you? Our girlfriends are here. Did your girlfriend sign up? No. Oh, okay. Oh, I've been corrected to say wife and girlfriend, everybody. You don't want to get in trouble, but let's say you are. It is unbelievable. It is just incredible. What do you think this chest looks like underneath all that? What's going on in Montana, bro? Yeah, good question. What's going on? It's cold and snowy. It's same thing as Austin, getting a lot of people just moving in and from California. Yeah, Washington, California. There's no comedy clubs in Montana. I try to book myself up there. No, but there's a couple open mics, but I've never even thought about going to one. I don't think going to Montana.
You're not going nowhere. Nobody going nowhere.
What's the biggest city there? Billings, yeah, Billings and Bozeman now is having a scene, but
You ain't
yeah, not many black people there. Not many, no. Oh, dude.
Screw you!
Every time I've ever visited them. Here comes the senior hilarious correspondent. Montana reference. And here we go. I gotta tell you. Money in the grocery stores I gotta tell you about the black people in Montana, am I right? There are none. Oh, here he goes.
This is why I was shaking when I came up here, because I knew this was going to happen.
All right. Okay, very good. Yes.
But no, the first time I visited him in Montana, we were walking down in front of this brewery, was a black gentleman walking across the street, and Spencer went, "Ooh, a unicorn."
Oh, dude. Wow.
I didn't make that up.
It was a lot funnier when Spencer did it, though. I guarantee you that.
We gotta bring Cam out here. He's gotta represent, bro.
No. I don't want Cam near these guys. They'll fucking... Oh, shit. There's one. Funny, amazing eclipse happening right now. You never see black people, and he never sees white people, so...
Interesting.
Take your microphone, Paul, maybe. Okay.
Say something cool, bro. Alright.
Jesus. Alright. Oh my god. Alright.
These are some white motherfuckers.
They really are.
Very
Evan,
white. We like you.
Evan, this is for you. And Spencer. Oh, you suck, dude. No, Polly.
He's not allowed.
Oh, you don't do anything. You don't do anything. That's an easy way to remember. Enjoy yourself. There they go. Spencer and Evan, everybody. The Bill and Ted for hillbillies. The J and should be Silent Bob. There they go. No. Back to the bucket we go. This looks like a fun name. I'm excited to see this. Make some noise for K1 Moses. You killed Tony, didn't you? K1 Moses. Here he is. Make some noise for K1, everybody.
White people, how y'all doing? Doing alright? Goddamn. Last couple of right as fuck up. Okay. Let's get right to it. Who's in a relationship? Round of applause for everybody in a relationship. Yes, it's a great crowd. Anyway, I just want to give y'all some advice. I ain't got a lot of time. Specifically for the fellas. To say constantly work on improvements. Make sure you're being better than we were yesterday. Specifically with your oral sex abilities. Make sure you're constantly improving your pussy-pleasing performance because these lesbians, they're coming for your job. They're coming for your job like a thief in the night. They have the work ethic of an illegal Mexican. Okay, they'll do it twice as good for half the pay. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Make sure you put your back into this shit. I don't care how good you think you're doing it. It is a stud who drives a Ford F-150 who's looking to take your position. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I'm not trying to rag on the lesbians. You know what I'm saying? They keep your friends close, enemies closer is what I'm trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? The lesbians, they have distinct advantage. They can put their dicks on the charger. You know what I'm saying? We in Tesla. We in Austin. They can charge their dick like a Tesla. You know what I'm saying? They have distinct advantage, so make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying, my name is Kiwan Moses. Thank y'all so much.
Kiwan Moses, ladies and gentlemen. Fucking great. Loved it.
Thank you.
Cal was a little quiet there, so you got to go long. That's fun. Kiwan, welcome to the show. Your first time on, correct?
Oh. Yes, sir. Popping my cherry. I'm sorry. Yes, sir. I always consider
So, this car's...
I ain't right back, but...
Okay, that's a big compliment.
Brown White's a bad motherfucker. Brown White. What did you consider me? Tony, go ask the question. We're good.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for it.
He's a white soldier boy.
Oh, shit. People shine. The army now. Okay. Kiwan Moses. So, welcome to the show. You're very calm. Loved the material. Loved everything. Fantastic. Let me tell you one of the good ones. about like section.
I'm sorry, Mama.
Let's go.
Mama, we made it. Look your tongue and suck it. Saliva, suck it, and keep rotating. And if her leg starts to convulse to like she's crushing your head, that means you're doing it right.
Wow, very good. Very rarely do I get a scientific answer. That is,
that right? I didn't know black guys skate. Let's see. I'm trying to make a change. I started high school when Obama first was elected, so I'm all about making a change amongst Negroes. You know what I'm saying? I got good credit. I know my father, and I'm killing it.
wow. Oh,
Killing
shit.
it. I'm killing it.
Oh, my goodness.
My father ain't shit, but I know him. You know what I mean?
I love it. Love it. Breaking down all these stereotypes.
Killing it.
Smack.
I have a life jacket, Tony. That was a dirty, what was a dirty motherfucker?
Got a life jacket, bulletproof as well. They got a lot of
Yes, yeah, but answers, do you swim or what? Talk to me, man. I do, so I
will.
I swim, you know, swim with films, you know,
Yeah.
swim with buddy, you know, I was swimming. I have a life jacket, I do pretty good with this.
Okay. Is there a specific ethnicity that you like? White, Tina, green? Ah, good answer.
And eating pussy and stand up comedy, but there is only one pussy I eat, and I'm my baby.
Oh, wow. How long have you been with her?
About a year now, a Latina, so we need a herb as well.
Okay.
And then I had Keno give me the spotlight, because I want to show you how I eat.
Okay. Here he is. Bobby eating.
I made enough fucking vegetables. Hey, stop fucking playing the drums for a second. You say something, stop fucking around. Yo, have you ever heard of the actor Leonardo DiCaprio? Did I give it for Leonardo DiCaprio?
Nice.
And I'm not kidding. He said this to me once. We were at a club. He looked over at me and he said to me,
What are you doing here?
Chinese, you said that, motherfuckers. Fuck off my fucking head. Like Biscuit 1999, I don't give a fuck. Listen, he looked at me and he said, "Do
Who are you? Is this a Make-A-Wish? What have you done?
Chinese, listen, if they have a fucking song like it,
Where's my camera?
he said to me, Leonardo said to me, he goes, dude, you look like you eat pussy. I'm just saying that. There's no joke. Like, why do you say that? It just seems like you do. I'll tell you how I do it.
You're already saying that he thinks you're a small one.
So you go like this.
We talked over.
Okay, I got stuff to do.
This other guy walking across 7th.
Hey there. What can I help you with? No problem. I'll get him off your back.
How has your life changed in the past week?
It's been very exciting. I'm addicted to my phone now. Other than that, it's been, I'm cool. I'm friends with a lot of cool people now. That's fun. Everyone from high school is very jealous.
Yeah. Yeah. Finally.
Yeah. Finally.
Finally, they're all jealous of you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And finally, they're looking up to you.
Exactly. That's what it was all about. Fuck those guys.
This all happened to Tony now about 10 years ago.
It's true. It's true. So...
Now who's getting all the pussy?
Okay, that's on the books at your warehouse. You've got to use the SecuroServe terminal at the office if you want to go after another one.
Can you hook me up, Ron, please?
Yeah.
Get out.
Please.
I got you coming.
So Heath, it is true. The last time you were on the show, I offered a very beautiful woman lifetime tickets to kill Tony if she fucked your brains out. Do you have any updates for us on your sex life the past week since you've been?
It never happened, Tony.
It never happened.
Never happened.
Wow.
I know.
Can we say?
Bitch it.
I didn't tell her the other side of that. She's banned forever from my. It's a high pressure situation. It's a real life show. Anything can happen.
They're actually very nice ladies, but no sex.
But they were nice.
I think there's a girl tonight that'll probably suck your dick.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, she has short hair and is wearing a red and black flannel.
Hell yeah.
No, Polly, don't. No, come on, Polly. No, come on.
You're over 18, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Here he goes. Sucking his dick. Polly Shore, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, he grabbed the back of his head. Oh my God. Must-see TV here. Only on Kill Tony. Oh my God. That was going to be such a great fucking teaser clip for the episode. Like, what the fuck is going on? You gotta love Eve. Doesn't just take the blowjob, immediately grabs the back of the head. Unbelievable.
You know what's fucked up is he probably would let me suck his dick.
Yeah.
I guarantee
weird,
you
bro.
he would.
Of course I would. That's the story.
For the story alone, absolutely. My goodness. Wow. How tall are you, Heath?
4'11".
4'11", but I gotta tell you, you grabbed Polly's head like you were 4'12".
Yeah.
I gotta just say. I love it. Wow. So what else has been going on this week?
I went to a rave last
Okay.
Sunday.
That's
Yeah.
some shit you do when you get famous.
Yeah, my roommates posted a countdown for the last episode drop, and on the countdown it said 6 days until Heath loses his virginity. And one girl responded to it and said that she wanted me to go to a rave with her. So I think I'm about to get late. And then I get cock-blocked by some fat guy named Otto who's crashing on the couch at the hotel.
Oh no.
Who's the worst? I hate that guy.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Fuck Otto.
God damn it. Otto. Damn. That's the name of a true cock blocker, right?
Yeah.
Otto. O-T-T-O. Never trust him. Bots roll out. So Heath, what else is going on? You've been eating your Lunchables? What's happening here?
like fish sticks and mac and cheese almost every day. It's the best. Yeah.
Breakfast of champions.
It takes like 12 minutes to prepare.
Do you have a sippy cup?
Yeah. Occasionally I spill stuff. I have to.
Well, we like you. Yeah. You can be part of our team. What team are you talking about? You said before I came on stage we were all part of a team here. Now we're not part of a team. Yeah, that's over in like 45 minutes or so. Expired. You said he could be part of it. Oh my goodness. So 411, you're famous now. You're one of the kings of Austin, the crown prince of the 6th Street. What else is going on? Are your friends cool? Are they cooler? Is
They're
everybody
cool as
nice?
hell. I love my friends.
Right.
They're the best.
Right. Have you noticed any people getting jealous?
Not really. They seem happy for the most part.
Okay, good. Be on my Jam in the Band show?
Yeah, I'd love to be on your Jam in the Band show.
You're not supposed to. What did I tell you about inviting people that look like this into bands, Polly? Hey, you want to jam in the van with me? I already almost sucked his dick, dude. Come on. Can you do that Fortnite dance where it's like, it looks like the hands?
What? I can do the floss.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at that, Polly. Oh, my goodness. Polly's hard as a rock right now.
My mating call for Polly.
Absolutely. He's jerking off. Spanking the weasel. All right. Keith, you did it again. Another amazing minute. We fucking love you. Golden ticket winner. Live in his first arena December 30th here in Austin, Texas. Going to be on some really fun shows coming up. Keith Fortis, everybody. All right. Back to the bucket we go. Back to the bucket, which is where we found Keith. It's where we found Cam, where we found everybody. Your next comedian goes by the name of I Am X. I Am X? Is that a real name? I Am X? Okay. Oh, yes, absolutely. I Am X, everybody. Yes, go right ahead. Holy shit. Make some noise for I Am X, everybody.
Hey, how's it going? I am X. Haven't 1 minute started? My name is Paige. I'm an open book. I have a Polly pocket full of confidence. But I always go home with the funny guy because I'm a chuckle fucker. I can't help it. My pussy's so tight like prom night. I need a cunt double. I'm the filthy MILF. Do you like my MILF muscles? I've been bench pressing a Fender Stratocaster. I made me rhythm house. Yeah, this one's for London. Like below, snake, Blake, and Crystal Man. Alcohol's big kids. Try to make me go to rehab. I said no, no, no. My ex-husband, his 2 or 3 favorite things are Tito's vodka, pickleball, and Reed's Rum in the Accidental Country Girl. He didn't go down on me once in 12 years. Said he was going to do it after the Razorbacks won or after he took out the trash. Neither one ever happened. But he is the #1 pickleball pro of Arkansas, and now I'm raising Stewie for family.
All right, the bear came out quick on that one. I Am X. Welcome to the show, I Am X.
Thank you so much.
Okay, do you know where you're at right now?
Yeah.
Have you seen the show before?
Well, I tried not to watch it because I didn't want to copy anybody, but I probably should have seen an episode or 3. But everybody. I got rid of my television a long time ago because I've been listening to Fish.
Okay. The band or the animal?
The band. I don't know about the animal.
You don't know what that is.
I'm from Arkansas.
Right, yeah, we don't have fish in Arkansas. Everybody knows that. Okay, so, yeah. you say you boss them around, are they real?
I was an operating room nurse for 14 years before I gave birth to Stewie for Family Guy. No.
Hold on, okay. Stop. Were you really in an operating room at some point?
Yeah. I mean, they weren't operating on me. Yes, I did craniotomies in Boulder, and yeah, Denver. They taught me how to do transplants, and then I did a lot of sex change surgeries in San Francisco.
That's really. Are you making jokes, or is that?
No, that's for real. That's for you guys can look me up.
And then what happened?
Betty Crocker, and I mated with Sasquatch. He's 6'4" and 280, and then I gave birth to Stewie from Family Guy.
You said that, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, shut up. Hold on.
Okay. Sure, yeah.
How much material do you have written on those ripped up loose leaf papers that you have? Is that all?
Well,
is that all jokes? What is that?
It's notes from my doctor that say I should stay in a safe place in a biodome. No, but I had a flip phone that I did put in the bin, and so I did have a couple good human trafficking jokes and talking about 90s nostalgia.
All right.
You guys have good security here, right?
Yeah.
Only the best,
The very best. Austin Security Guard Service, the best in the world.
She's cool, though. She's cool. She reminds me of some wild babe from the Midwest, dude.
Yeah.
The Midwest is a wild place. And are you from the Midwest?
I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah. So,
Okay, hold on. Okay, whatever. So, what are you on right now? Just tell the truth. Don't try to be funny or talk about fucking Stewie or whatever bullshit.
What am I on?
What exactly are you on? Like, what did you do today? Any pills?
No, I just took the one prescription that the doctor gave me.
What's that prescription?
Lexapro.
Yeah, there it is. Absolutely. Oh, okay. Get rid of that. Very good. Okay. All right. Honestly, I think you're very, very promising. I think you have a chance.
Really?
You know.
Okay.
Now, can you catch this? I'm gonna throw this just short of you there. What? To avoid all lawsuits. There you go.
I love you.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay, there she goes. IMX, everybody. There you go. Absolutely. This place is fucking wild.
Is she going to stay in the episode, or you cut that part out?
No, she'll stay in. She answered just enough questions.
You can shorten it, right?
No. We won't do that, no. We'll keep it as it is. Now, some of the things that you've said tonight, on the other hand, we're going to do some deep trimming. Just a little...
Nip and tuck.
No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. How about a hand for the great Pauly Shore in Illinois? Pull another name out of the bucket. Make some noise for Alex Reyes, everybody. Alex Reyes. This kind of sounds familiar. Yeah, I think he's been on before. One more time for Alex, everybody.
When I started doing comedy, I was in a really bad place. El Paso, Texas. El Paso has one of the largest landfills in this country. It's called New Mexico. There was a mass shooting at a Walmart in El Paso. 15 people died. 11 of them volunteered. Thank you, guys.
38 seconds of Alex Reyes.
Oh, wow.
Do you have anything else you wanted to say?
I did a show in El Paso, and when I called my dad, I said, Dad, I just got to El Paso. He goes, that's awesome, mijo. Keep going.
Right. Okay. How about one more time for Alex Reyes, everybody? You've been on this show before, right? I remember you.
I was here on my birthday.
Okay. When's your birthday, Alex?
It was in July.
Wow. Okay.
July 24th.
How did that go for you?
What amazing, man.
Yeah.
I had an amazing set. Got a big book, big
Yep.
gun.
Yep. Absolutely. It's a gel blaster, by the way. It's a gel shooting device.
Absolutely.
Have you used it?
No, I'm going to mount it with the big book and a picture of me here.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
All right.
Give it some thought.
This mental health awareness
Is there a gas
What's
leak
going on right
out
now?
back?
All right. So, Alex, remind us, what do you do for a living?
I go door to door. I set appointments for homeowners looking to go solar.
Okay. What are you on today?
I'm on love, guys. Come on.
Oh, one of the most boring drugs available.
I gave him something about a half hour ago.
You did? What was it? The bad jokes that he did?
I thought his jokes were good for 38 seconds, then I got sad that they didn't continue. Why didn't you continue?
I thought that was a whole minute.
No.
My timing is way off.
Mijo, you had more time.
Gracias, señor. Gracias.
You are one of the funniest Mexican grandmothers we've ever had on this show, Alex. Okay, you go door to door, blah, 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 blah. How long have you lived in Austin?
I live in San Antonio.
Okay, absolutely.
From Laredo. I'm from a border town.
Huh? All right.
Brownsville.
No, Laredo.
Brownsville's got some good beans, dude.
Whoa, I don't think you're allowed to call them that anymore. Okay, Alex, anything else crazy or interesting about your life that we should know about? You were on the show a few months ago. Maybe you thought of something since then in which you're like, hey, at that interview part, maybe I should...
After the show, I went to Burning Man.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
No one cares.
Yeah, you're right. Is that it? That's the end of the story? You went there, and that's
I had an amazing time. Everybody was crying.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Oh, it got flooded. That's right. Okay. All right. There he goes, everybody. Alex Reyes, everyone. There you go, buddy. Man, fucking legit.
He doesn't get a book, right?
He already got one, Paulie. I got that part. Yeah, no, we got you. There he goes, everybody. One of the rare lesbian fortune tellers in the industry of fortune telling. All right. Pull another name out of the bucket. Make some noise for John Nemeke, everybody. John Nemeke. John Nemeke. Here's the Phil Tony debut, I do believe, of John Nemeke.
What's up, guys? I started kickboxing. Learning how to fight is supposed to build confidence. I'm just curious when that confidence is supposed to come. Because right now I just feel like I'm paying to get my ass kicked. I can't fight for shit. Ironically, my favorite shirt to wear to the gym is a tank top that says Iron Mike Tyson on it. I think if I wear it, I'm going to somehow channel some of Mike Tyson's greatness through that shirt and have a better workout. I just put it on. I'm like, who's like Mike? I'm like Mike. But in reality, the only thing I have in common with Mike Tyson is the gap in my teeth. When I was a kid, I asked for braces. My parents said, no, John, we want you to have at least one thing in common with Mike Tyson. That makes sense. Well, Mike Tyson went to prison for rape when he was 26. I'm only 25. I'd rather buy a tiger. All right, that's my set.
All right. John Nemeke. That was kind of like Mike Tyson. I was wishing someone would bite my ear off during that performance. John, how long have you been doing stand-up comedy?
For the last year.
For the last year. Where at?
I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, Cleveland, Ohio. You still live there?
Yes.
How long are you in Austin for?
Probably another week.
How long have you been here?
1 week.
What have you done that's fun? Tell the people listening around the world what how you've enjoyed Austin, Texas this week.
I've been hanging out in Barton Springs and just smoking weed with my friends. Yeah.
Hey, all right. Very good. What do you do for a living in Cleveland?
I just work a waiting job. I got out of the Navy last year, and I'm just kind of chilling before I go back to school. Another reason I'm here, I want to look at the campus. The campus?
Oh, the campus.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So where are you waiting tables at?
A Korean restaurant.
Ah, okay.
Sona.
There you go. Following in the footsteps of Hans Kim's sisters. What did you do in the Navy?
I worked on F-18's engines.
F-18's engines. So you know how to work an engine on an F-18? Not
well, but
right.
Yeah.
Somehow, IMX thinks she's done the same job before. That's the crazy part. One of the many things on her insanely long resume of insanity. Okay. What's your love life like, John?
Just someone that I'm like kind of hanging out with at the moment, not like a title or anything.
And we have a little bit of a theme on tonight's show. Do you have any special tricks to eating pussy? Not really. I just kind of get down there. I don't know. Nothing special. Jesus Christ. That sounds like the worst pussy eater I've ever heard in my life.
Yo, does this dude remind you of Richard Branson's retarded son?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck yeah, bro, right? That's my time. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I've done a lot of fucking jokes here, bro. Do we get paid for this shit?
No.
Fuck, dude.
No. So like your gigs in Montana, no pay.
If you could sell shirts for us after the show.
It's like if Richard Branson was a virgin instead of own virgin. So, John, did I ask you special skills or talents other than being a stand-up comedian?
No, you did not. But I can scuba dive. I'm a dive master.
Oh, dive master. Dive master that can't eat pussy. Unbelievable. No, it's not a muff dive master, that's for sure. Okay. So, what do you think about the people on the submarine? Okie dokie. Wow. So, John, what scares you? What are you afraid of? Been in the Navy, you've done stand-up comedy, you've done some scary things in your life. What are you afraid of?
Being boring during this interview, but
I bet you're scared of being intimate with a boy.
And I think it's time that you face your fears. Uh-oh. Look at this. Whoa. Oh my. Whoa. Look at that. He was gonna do it. Oh my goodness gracious. Thank God D Madness has no idea what's going on right now. You would have left 5 minutes ago. It's funny because he's homophobic. Just kidding. D's not homophobic. He loves the game so much. No. All right. John, anything else about your life that we would find interesting or compelling at all? A fun fact about you.
I travel quite a bit. I spent like the last 3 months in South America, and I kind of speak Spanish a little bit.
Well, I got good news for you. You can travel right now, my friend. Your time here is done. There's a small joke book for you. There he goes.
Thank you.
John Nemeke, everybody. Is he over there? EC? Big boy? Is he around? Grab him. We'll do that too. All right, last bucket full of the night. Shut up. All right, put your hands together for Aaron McPherson, everybody. Aaron McPherson. This will be your final bucket full of the night. Okay, here we go. The Bill Tony debut of Aaron McPherson. Make some noise for Aaron, everybody.
Howdy, niggas. See, I appreciate that. That's my favorite pastime. I like going into rooms crowded full of white folks and just shouting out nigga a bunch. Just be like nigga. And if you didn't laugh, fuck you, man. You make me nervous. We all got them friends that just be like, God's got me in any situation. They'll be like, hey, man, fuck that test. God's got me. Alright, get some semi-serious shit, be like, hey man, fuck that shit, I'm going to Raw tonight. God's got me. But then you know, got some serious shit for real, you be like, hey man, fuck paying them taxes. God's got me. Man, God came down with the quickness, was I ain't got shit. Uncle Sam got your black ass, nigga. Thanks, man.
Fuck yeah. Aaron McPherson. I liked it. Welcome to the show, Aaron. How long you been doing stand-up?
About 5 years now.
5 years. Where at?
Out of Kansas. I came on here once before.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you were on earlier tonight.
I had a
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I don't know what happened, but... When was that? When were you on the show?
What? Whatever the month, I think March, the first month I was here.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a fro though then.
Okay. You had to... Why'd you get rid of the fro?
Man, because I came about some money, so I get a haircut now.
Okay, how'd you come about some money? Where was this great looting at?
So when you had an afro?
Yeah,
did you have a pig in it and cruise around with the pig too? Because that's a good look, bro.
Yeah, man, I had one, man.
That's tight.
Okay, well, thank you. Where'd you come across the money?
Huh?
The question that I asked a minute ago that you avoided.
Man, I was out there selling some beer. You know, I'm not selling no beer no more though. But yeah, that's what I came across somebody selling some beer.
Beer?
Beer.
You were selling beer?
Yeah, that's the
What does that mean exactly? Come on, tell the truth. It's more interesting if you tell the truth. No one's ever been arrested in the history of the show other than the guy that murdered his girlfriend afterwards. And,
I'll sell them myself, man.
What?
I'll sell them myself.
What do you mean?
Oh, you were being
Let me answer the question. Really?
Yeah, man, they call me, Deuce Bigelow, the American Negro Gigolo.
Oh my goodness. So what type of money are we talking about? What does the menu of Aaron McPherson look like?
What is the menu, Dick?
Right. Okay, so what's the amount of money for Dick?
She know about a good cool 200 or something, man. I'm cheap.
Right. Okay. Was that the only thing on the menu, just Dick?
Of course, man, shit.
But I need, again, what's like the range?
Food, man. You know, I got food too. I'll make some food for you.
Okay, Dick and a sandwich. What do you got?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
man.
exactly. So, come on. Like, what's the price range here exactly?
What's the price range? All right, I'm setting it right now since I'm on this. It's about $750.
$750?
Yeah, for some dick and some chicken.
Wow. For a second, I thought it was going to be actual $750, like you would give 2 quarters of change.
What about if you put a piece of chicken on your dick? Like, biscuit type shit.
It's true. I can do what it do.
It's true. The old chicken dick biscuit.
Put your dick up on the motherfucking counter. Let's see this shit.
Oh,
we might make you some money tonight, bro.
We're gonna find out exactly what this dick should be worth. Okay, so you came across money being a gigolo.
Yeah.
All right, what else do you do? You seem like a busy man. You seem like you have a lot of side hustles. Like stuff is in the trunk of your car right now. For sale. D, don't laugh like that. Come on. He can't even see you, but he knows who you're like. He knows. D is cracking up. He's not used to me saying that someone has stuff in the trunk of their car.
Just be working, just be, hunting and shit.
What?
Working, hunting.
Oh.
Yeah, man, just chilling, I don't know, smoking some weed.
You seem like you have a lot of secrets.
Nah, maybe, man, I don't know.
Alright.
No, I do got secrets, though.
Yeah? Can you tell us one? Can you tell us one of your secrets?
Only one of your secrets. Alright. Hey, there's some bitches in Winfield. I was fucking, and that man likes to get cooked. So I was fucking bitches in front of their niggas.
Oh, okay. And they pay you for that.
That's, yeah.
Okay. What was it, like an internship or something like that? Wow. So, what do the guys do when they're watching you bang their women?
Shit, I don't know. I ain't looking at them niggas, man.
That's a really good point. That was the correct answer. That was a trick, and you did not take the bait whatsoever. I ain't looking at them Edwards was the correct answer. That was exactly what I had written down here. You didn't have to phone a friend or anything for that one. You absolutely nailed it. Okay. Were they fully clothed though, right? No gay shit's going on there.
Yeah, none of that gay shit.
Right.
Right, then I'm leaving, bro.
No, you gotta stay, Polly. No, gay shit. No gay shit. No gay shit. D-Madness is rules. Aaron, tell us one more fun fact about your life or something that you've done. Any special skills or talents other than stand-up comedy? You seem like the kind of guy that has like a fucking magic trick or something like that.
Let me think, man. What do I do special, man? Shit, I make bitches come.
Okay, which brings me to my final point. There's been kind of a theme on tonight's show.
Oh, damn.
There's been kind of a theme where each person that comes on stage has shared one of their tricks of eating pussy. Can you share with us an eating pussy trick from Aaron McPherson?
All right. I'm waiting for this moment. Hey, you sit there and you take that thing, you bust it open.
Oh, all the way open. Holy shit, look at that. Wait, are those the legs or the pussy?
It's a big woman.
My goodness. Are you stuffing a turkey? What's going on here exactly?
You bust that thing open, man, and then you stick your head through there and be like...
Whoa.
Oh, you did this shit though, like that?
Well done out there. The money's in the bank.
Just falls 2 fingers in.
Whoa. Oh my goodness. Absolutely.
I'll see you backstage, bro.
Aaron, you got a joke from last time you were on?
Yes, sir.
A big one?
Yes, sir.
There you go. You did it again. Congratulations. You're gonna leave here with a gel blaster. Make some noise for Aaron McPherson, everybody. Yeah. All right. So one more little special treat. Golden ticket winner out of Houston, Texas that moved here. We're gonna watch his new minute together. Fighting the good fight. Not easy out here on these streets for a lot of comedians. You know, new guns coming around every corner and this and that. This is one of the oldest golden ticket winners, believe it or not. 5 years ago in Houston, Texas. Make some noise for him with a new minute. This is Enrique Chacon, everybody.
Yo, what's up, motherfuckers? Fuck yeah, man, I got a problem sweating, dude. Like, I sweat so much, man, I identify as a Baptist preacher, dog. During the summer, I identify as brisket, bitch. It's wild, man. Like, have you ever sweat so hard at the mall that people think you're crying, dog? I was just at the mall trying to buy some Vans stripping, dude. And the security officers approached me like, sir, are you having a mental health crisis? And I was like, nah, officer, just a regular health crisis. So, yeah, man, like, I sweat so much, I'm afraid to have missionary sex with my girl, because I really think she's gonna drown down there, dude. You know, sometimes when I fuck her with a big soaked t-shirt, I almost feel like I'm waterboarding her. Like, is this really the best thing you ever had? So, yeah, man, dude, whenever me and my girl fuck, dude, we don't go to Pound Town, y'all. We go to Schlitterbahn, you know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, man, that's been my time, bro. Appreciate y'all.
Boom. Exactly a minute. Enrique Chacon has done it again. Likeable, adorable, sweet thing. Enrique Chacon. How's life?
Pretty fucking good so far, Tony. I recently recorded a training video for Shipley's Donuts, dog.
Wait, what did you do for the donuts?
I did a training video. You know how if you get a job, you gotta watch that training video? I did that, but with donuts, baby.
Oh my God. Are you training people how to eat the donuts?
Oh, don't get me wrong, dog. I did a lot of that too, bro.
Hey, come on, Tony. Don't do that to me. Hey, come on.
I did a lot of that too, shit, dude. But,
oh my goodness.
I was standing in front of literally the shittiest Shipley's Donuts, bro. Ghetto and shit, homeless guy outside. And it's just me and the camera, and I'm just like, would you like some donut holes with that? Pretty much that.
Wow. All right, very good. So you're not at Buc-ee's anymore?
Oh, I'm still at Buc-ee's, dude, but...
So that's where I saw you, right?
Oh, yeah.
I did. We were going to some little town, and we stopped at a Buc-ee's, and I'd never been in one before, and I walked in, and it was there. You were. Big waving behind the cash register.
You guys got in trouble for that, right?
Like, yeah, nah, we didn't get in trouble, bro. But Ron White walked up to me. He's just like, "Can I get a job application?" And I told him, dude, he was white enough and teal good enough to be a manager, bro.
Straight to manager. Imagine that.
You know something too about brisket?
But congratulations, man. It's been fun to watch you grow as a young comic on this day.
Thanks, Ron.
It's been a lot of fun, man. You're doing a great job.
It's also been fun to watch your comedy get better and evolve.
We're giving him
We got to do both. We got to watch you grow and evolve as a comedian.
Shipley's did pay me about the Dustin, baby. That shit was fucking... At the end of it, they were like, take as many boxes as you want, bro. Fuck, dude.
Oh, damn. How many donuts do you think you ate?
I don't know, dude. Maybe like 24.
Oh, shit.
Good as shit.
You know it's bad when Red Band's like, Jesus.
Oh, Red Band, come on.
That's a lot of donuts, dude. Wow. 24 donuts. Just sweating like bullets over a box of donuts.
It was so comfortable at first because they gave me the thinnest shirt, dude. So the whole time I was recording, my nipples were so hard, bro.
Oh, yeah. Polly knows.
I ain't show you my tits, Polly.
No, we're good. So what's up?
His
What's up with your tie thing? That looks like you're Indian. You're not Mexican, bro.
Nah, this is a cowboy choker, bro.
But everything's a choker on you. That top button is holding on for dear life right now. Look at that fucking thing.
Dude.
It's sweating. I see your top button has its own beads of sweat on it right now. Putting it all together. So is that true? You fuck your girl, you sweat a lot then too, right?
Sweat a lot, bro. Bring a towel and everything. Both ways.
Towel. So she's just covered in sweat.
Yeah.
Fucking unbelievable. Absolutely incredible. Now, there's been a theme tonight. I don't know if you know this, but I want to know, do you have any tricks to eating donuts?
You gotta eat them from the back.
Hey, oh, the old chocolate eclair.
Rock and roll donut, baby.
Oh, hell yeah. Some of that maple glaze.
Lick your fingers afterwards. Dude.
Oh, absolutely.
Hold your breath. Careful.
Absolutely. Enrique, we love you. There he goes. Golden ticket winner, Enrique Chacon, everybody.
Thank you so much, y'all. Follow me at Enrique Comedy. Love y'all.
Hell yeah.
Hey, see me at Buc-ee's or the donut place.
There's only one way to end an episode like this, ladies and gentlemen. I spent the entire weekend with this man, doing sold-out theaters, absolutely on top of his game. I mean, absolutely incredible to see. He has the record for all-time appearances on the show and interviews on the show, the only living member of the Kill Tony Hall of Fame. Some people call him the Tijuana Tarantula, the San Francisco Buttermilk Biscuit, the Memphis Strangler, the Manila Gorilla. This is the Big Red Machine. Lights out, William Montgomery.
An Alaskan Airlines pilot high on mushrooms tried to shut off the plane's engines mid-flight a couple weeks ago before being subdued, proving that mushrooms are totally safe because even if you try to crash a plane, you can't crash a plane. Webster's Dictionary just added the word girl boss. Just know this, ladies, if I ever call you a girl boss, I respect you just as much as a normal boss. But seriously, if you're called girl boss, you're probably called raging bitch by everyone else in your life. Seriously, I'm still waiting for the FBI to indict 3-6 Mafia on RICO charges. This is what they do for Mafia people. Okay, listen. Funny how some of the same people posted about climate change also sharing horoscope memes. Climate change is real, it's science. Also, I'm Sagittarius, so you know I be judging real quick this month. Okay, that's my time. Thank you.
Wow. He did it again. Ladies and gentlemen, like only he can, coming in at the end every week, showing everybody how it's done in his own defined style. The wild stylings of William Montgomery.
So nice to be here tonight. I think everybody will be happy to know Tony and I went to a Russian bathhouse in San Francisco on Saturday morning, and we saw one another's penises for the first time.
We did. We did. Archimedes Banya. Shout out. I think that's the name.
Yeah, Archimedes Banya.
Fucking greatest place I've ever been to in my entire life, and that was just for the dicks. But it was also
there are
honest
penises everywhere.
state-of-the-art shit, true old-school Russian throwback. It's the only thing about San Francisco that is amazing right now, because that place is literally a fucking. I mean,
It's like a hellscape right now. I mean, there were people doing meth, shooting up stuff, drinking stuff. I mean,
so many people in wheelchairs, an obnoxious amount of homeless people in wheelchairs. It was like there was a wheelchair basketball game going on, but there was no basketball. Just people going in the streets and back and forward, and it was fucking crazy. I don't know what's going on there, but nobody's walking anymore. They've literally just gotten they all have wheelchairs now. And they are rolling around.
It was crippled people fucking everywhere in San Francisco, and crippled people already give you the creeps sometimes. I mean, it was a nightmare.
More human shit on a sidewalk than I've seen in 3 years in a weekend. Yeah, they don't even remember when they used to go to like alleyways and stuff. They used to have some fucking pride. Now they just stand up out of the wheelchair straight up. Then next to the wheelchair, they take a shit, and then they get back in the wheelchair. And they fucking roll away from the scene of the crime.
It's kind of like Red Band's mom's house.
Oh,
shit. I mean, she's getting older. You'll know that bitch be old these days. I mean, she is shitting fucking everywhere in that motherfucker.
Look at the wheels turning over here.
So what was Tony's dick like? Like, what would you review it?
Yeah, I can talk about my dick a little bit.
We put our penises beside each other. We had to get to the bottom of whose penis is bigger. Tony's penis was bigger than mine by, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches. It was, I mean, he had this huge penis down there. I was blushing when I saw it. We go inside.
And by the way, that was after I got out of the cold plunge.
Yeah, I was shocked. I mean, oh man.
So, William, what's up?
Oh, good question. Did I mention that Paulie has the Jam in the Van show on YouTube?
No, William, so you peed in the bottle, correct?
Yeah,
Sacramento? Yes or fucking no?
I like it when you guys talk at the same time. That's the best thing for the show. If you guys could do that more often, that'd be great.
No, I couldn't pee in the bottle. Tony wouldn't let me pee in the bottle, but we did stop at an In-N-Out pretty soon after that, but I was horrified. I mean, I had to pee so fucking
The reason why I knew you had to be is that it was the same day. We were in San Fran. We went to this diabolical fucking sweat house from the heavens. I mean, levels and levels of different crazy fucking saunas. So we were drinking an obnoxious amount of water, and even though it's funny that twice in this episode this comes up, I never have to pee, but I had to pee so bad. So when I heard from the back of the van, like, hey, you done with that bottle? Can I see that bottle? Can you pour some of this in that bottle? I knew what the fuck was going on. So I turn around and go, William, are you about to piss in that bottle? And somehow Hans looked more guilty than you. But I knew what was going on, so I did. I had the first ever pee stop in our touring history.
Tony, do you want to tell the people who peed longer? Because that was a bit of a competition
We did not have a dick size competition in the bathhouse, but we actually did have a pee time length competition in the In-N-Out bathroom, and I was pretty sure that I was going to win, but my giant pee hole cost me a real problem on this one because I was just pissing like a horse, and in the stall next to me, I just hear this little.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. That's how I pee. And I peed for literally like 3 fucking minutes.
It was crazy. Your pee hole, I mean, absolutely tiny. There's just no way to describe it other than it is God's sense of humor.
Yeah, it's really small. Also, who has a small TTO, Red Band's mom.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
I said TTO, bitch!
Wow.
Hers isn't that small because of cancer, though.
Whoa.
Yeah, I have skin cancer. Why would you bring that up, dumbass? I have to go under the fucking knife in 2 weeks.
Wow, you have to go under the knife. Red Band's going under the fork.
Because he likes food. And his mom's under the table because her bitch ass is drawn all the time. There's shit everywhere. everywhere. She's peeing all over the fucking place. She's drunk under tables. She's the one who gave me herpes, by the way. Tony asked me, we did look at each other's penises. I have herpes on my penis right now. And he's like, where'd you get that? I was like, you know, Redman's mom, dude.
This is all true, William.
Oh my.
Oh.
It's all true.
Stop
talking about it.
In the 1990s, when Mom's Jokes came out, my mom told me, like, don't worry about it, son. I know all the people in the playground are talking about me being a whore, the small pee hole, and all this shit. And it doesn't bother me anymore, William. So.
You were at a playground at one point?
I mean,
was it the McDonald's playground?
It was the McDonald's playground. I got stuck in one of the tubes.
There you go, a little self-deprecation from Red Band. Look at that, spinning around on himself.
Wow.
We're in a tube eating a little Big Mac. All right. William, anything else going on in life? What else has happened?
Nothing. Just after the cancer diagnosis, I've been playing. You don't want to hear this, Tony, but I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I've been
back on the video games.
Back on Diablo 4. I'm a motherfucking level 92 sorcerer right now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was expecting more applause for that. I should have said that. Okay. But yeah, just doing that.
An incredible weekend in the theaters, mixing in new material. Everybody was amazed. Very, very exciting stuff.
It was wonderful. Felt great. It's been a real pleasure.
Okay. Kind of sounded like a lie, but I know you mean it.
It's been a real pleasure, Tony. Yeah, get ready, dumbass. Oh! I love going out with your ass, Tony. It's been a ton of fun, man! You know it's been a ton of fun! And we did look at each other's penises at the fucking...
And my balls, too. You didn't mention my balls at all.
I actually didn't see his balls. They're very small. I mean, it's a big... I get it!
You son of a bitch. What did I tell you? I said we could do the show on Monday. You tell him.
What did Hans Kim do when you guys went to the bathhouse?
He was there too. No, he was there.
What did that dick look like?
Oh, dude, you don't want to know.
Just looked like a pussy, right?
No. Mostly pubes. A lot of pubes.
I mean, like a pussy. Just looked like a pussy.
Yeah, I think it's called an inverted penis what he has. Basically, you can only see kind of the tip of it coming out of the hole.
Like sort of underneath Vietnamese soldiers sneaking through the bushes.
Yes.
Yeah. How's his pee-hole, though?
Hans wasn't in the pee competition.
No.
I thought it was going to be William, but yeah, it all had a bigger flow. William, you're absolutely unbelievable. The way that you come in every single week and absolutely drop the hammer, it's insane. I just love you. Everybody loves you.
Love you too.
William, you got anything coming up you want to promote or anything?
Just get me on that Cameo app, please.
There you go. Get the cameos. There goes William Montgomery, everybody. How about one more time for the great Ron White, everyone? He's on tour at TaterSalad.com. Pauly Shore, Jam in the Man Show with Pauly Shore. Drew Barrymore's Beyonce. And tour dates, of course, is always on the road, killing it. Shout out to Gel Blaster, Red Rose, Yellow Rose, Connect Mobile Health, the IV Drip Company, Connect Mobile Health, Austin Security Guard Service, NinjaBuses.com, Hall Law Firm, and AustinPulls.com. How about one more time for the best damn band in the land, the Kill Tony Band. We have a drawing from Ryan J. Ebelt that we're going to show on YouTube. He's here, live in the flesh. Look at that, that's the actual Ryan J. Ebelt over there. He's been drawing every episode since the start of the show. And we also have a drawing from local artist Chris Rogers is also here. Oh shit, look at that. Of course, Ryan's every episode of the show. I have them scattered throughout my place. Fucking the best are RyanJebelt.com. Of course, all the Kill Tony books from RyanJebelt.com. All right, here to take us out tonight, Red Band. Anything else?
Check out the Secret Show every Thursday, Sunset Strip, ATX.com.
There you go. And we have a special treat for you. Some amazing artists from around the globe come to Austin, Texas. We are graced by the amazing presence of the Dunwells tonight. Check them out on Spotify and everywhere where music is available. Amazing, amazing musicians. This is their hit new debut, All-Time High. Make some noise for the Dunwells, everybody. They're here, live in the flesh, all the way from England. Here to sing a little song for you. And here we go. This is the Dunwells. Enjoy yourselves, everyone. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Watch the point, stick around, we have better days. And forever, I'll keep dancing in the rain. Good things come to us. What am I waiting for? Life is an open door, living it up. Oh, living it up. Oh, nothing but blue skies, sun in my eyes. I'm living for the good times, living it up. Oh, 'cause I'm on an all-time high, high, high. I'm on an all-time high, high, high. Turning bitter into sweet, and I'll keep making lemonade. What a lovely day. I'm not waiting for that good night. I'm living it up. Oh, living it up. Oh, nothing but blue skies, sun in my eyes. I'm living for the good times, living it up. Oh, 'cause I'm on an all-time high, high, high. I'm on an all-time high, high, high. I'm tired of hearing life is a journey. Today is all we have. Oh, I'm living it up. Oh, living it up. Oh, oh, I'm living it up. Oh, living it up. Oh, nothing but shine, sun in my eyes. I'm living for the good times, living it up. Oh, 'cause I'm on an all-time high, high, high. I'm on an all-time high, high, high. I'm on an all-time high. Oh,
Hello, Jordan Peterson.
Hello, Mr. Rogan. How
You
are you
look
doing?
very spiffy today.
Thank you, sir.
This is a new look for you. You've been rocking a lot of these big, gigantic, what do you call those things? These concerts you guys are doing. What do you, speeches?
Well, lectures, discussions is really what I think of them as. Yeah, because I'm discussing. I mean, you might think it's kind of perverse to be discussing with a 3,000 person audience, but it's not, because if you pay attention to the audience, they're constantly, and the individuals in the audience, they're constantly providing feedback.
So it's a discussion as far as I'm concerned.
Feedback in, applause, laughter. Sometimes they shout things out too.
Shuffling.
Yeah, well, really what you want, if you're on track, if you're where you should be, then it's dead silent. And everyone's focused, listening. And so if that's not happening, I mean, you know, there can be laughter and that kind of thing, but generally speaking, you don't want to hear noise from the audience. So if you're pursuing a complicated topic and you're paying attention, and I'm always looking at individual people in the audience, you know, in the first few rows, because that's all I can see because of the lights. I'm trying to make sure that everyone's on track with the talk. You know, there's people gesture with their face, they gesture with their eyes, they shake their head, they nod. There's lots of things to pick up. If you're not speaking with notes, you can really pay attention to the audience, and then you know if you're in the dialogue. That's where everyone wants to be.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing you're doing because you have experience in doing that with lectures in colleges and universities, but now it's the general public. People just pay to see it, and you fill up these huge, gigantic theaters. I mean, I've seen some of the places that you guys are doing it. You and Sam just got done doing one in Vancouver. It's huge places.
Two, that's right. Yeah, back to back. Yeah, so it was about 5 hours of intense discussion over 2 days. And, you know, we were supposed to talk for an hour each night and then go to Q&A, but we asked the audience, Brent Weinstein, who was moderating, asked the audience if they wanted to go to Q&A and continue the discussion. And, you know, the response from the crowd was definitely continue the discussion, so we ended up talking for about 2.5 hours each night. And again, it was the audience is along for the ride. You know, and they were good discussions as far as I'm concerned. You know, it was kind of marketed as a takedown in some sense, Harris versus Peterson.
Right.
But the discussion itself was an attempt on Sam's part and my part to further our thinking about the topic and to bring everyone along for the ride, you know, for the journey, so to speak.
Yeah, well, you guys had 2 podcasts that you did over the phone. So these were the first meetings that you guys had in person.
Yeah, it was the first time I met Sam.
So the first one that you 2 had was marred by this discussion about what is truth.
Yeah.
And it was a strange sort of you got stuck. You guys got kind of stuck in that first conversation. But I felt like the second one was much better.
Yes.
Both of you kind of recognized there were some errors made in the first podcast.
Yeah, we augured in on a definition and let it go. And so that wasn't so good. Yeah, and I wasn't in tip-top shape for that first discussion, well, for the second one for that matter. But they've been getting, each discussion I've had with Sam has been getting better. So as far as I'm concerned, I think he feels the same way. And I mean, we're trying to sort something out that's really, really difficult. And it's the relationship between facts and values, which is parallel to the relationship between, say, objective truth and narrative, or parallel to the distinction between scientific fact and religious truth. All of those things sort of are layered on top of each other. It's an extraordinarily difficult topic. And so it's not surprising that it's taken all of this discussion to even vaguely get it straight. It's been a central bone of contention among philosophers for probably forever, but certainly since the time of David Hume, several hundred years.
Well, one of the more fascinating things that's coming out of the realm of podcasting is these kind of discussions, these long-form, live discussions in front of enormous groups of people where you go over very complex issues. It's a new thing. I mean, and it's something that's greatly received by the public, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
You guys are selling out all over the place.
Yeah, well, I've really been trying to make sense of this, because I'm thinking, well, what the hell's going on? Why am I selling out 3,000 person auditoriums? And then, but not just me, obviously. Sam is doing it, and you're doing something on a larger scale, and very similar with your long-form podcasts. And then there's this whole rise of Barry Weiss described as the intellectual dark web. That's actually Eric Weinstein's coinage. And so there's a group of us that have been sort of clumped together for reasons that aren't obvious. But I've been trying to figure that out as I do these lectures. Another thing I'm doing with the lectures or the discussions is trying to continually further the development of my ideas. I use the stage, let's say, as a opportunity in real time to think. I've been thinking, well, if you're surfing, you don't confuse yourself with the wave. That's a real mistake. You might be on top of the wave, but you're not the wave. And
I think this long-form discussion and the public hunger for that is best conceptualized like that. There's a technological revolution. It's a deep one. The technological revolution is online video and audio, immediately accessible to everyone all over the world. And so what that's done is it's turned the spoken word into a tool that has the same reach as the printed word. So it's a Gutenberg revolution in the domain of video and audio. And it might be even deeper than the original Gutenberg revolution, because it isn't obvious how many people can read, but lots of people can listen. And now it turns out, so I mean, you got a little bit of that with TV, right? You got a little bit of it with radio, but there was bandwidth limitations that were really stringent, especially with TV, where you could get 30 seconds. If you were lucky, in 6 minutes, if you were stellar, to elucidate a complicated argument. So you can't do that. Everything gets compressed to a kind of oversimplified entertainment. But now, all of a sudden, we have this forum for long-form discussion, real long-form discussion, and it turns out that everyone is way smarter than we thought. Right? We can have these discussions publicly, and there's a great hunger for it. And I see this parallelism, and this would be what we call supporting evidence for this hypothesis. The same things happened in the entertainment movement, because, TV made us think, well, we can handle a 20-minute sitcom, or maybe we can handle an hour and a half made-for-TV movies. And Netflix came along, and HBO as well, with bandwidth restrictions on, and all of a sudden it turned out that no, we can handle 40-hour complex multi-layered narratives, where the characters shift, where the complexity starts to reach the same complexity as Greek literature, and there's a massive market for it. And so it turns out that we're smarter than our technology revealed to us. And I think those of us who would be placed in this intellectual dark web group, and there's some things we have in common. We more or less have independent voices, because we're not beholden to any corporate masters except peripherally. And we've been operating in this long-form space, and the technology has facilitated that. And so all of a sudden it turns out that there's more people than we thought. Thank God for that.
I'm struggling with, I want to use the word hate. There seems to be a non-acceptance or a resistance to the idea that anything quality will come out of this world. It's really interesting to me. And I'm wondering why. When I listen to you speak, or Sam, or Eric, or any of these people, Ben or Dave, and I hear very interesting points. I'm like, why are people resisting that these are interesting points? Why are they resisting them? And I think there's a lot of people that are beholden to mainstream organizations, whether it's newspapers or magazines or television shows, that feel trapped. I think they feel trapped by this format they're stuck in. It's a very limiting format, and it's a format that, in my opinion, is like, I mean, it might as well be smoke signals or ham radio or something. It's dumb. This idea that you're going to go to commercials every 15 minutes, and in between, 15 people arguing. I mean, I watched a panel on CNN once. I think we counted 10 people that were trying to talk during this 5-minute segment. Like, what genius thought that it would be a good idea to get 10 people struggling for airtime, barking over each other, no one's saying anything that makes any sense because everybody's talking over and trying to stand out and trying to say the most outrageous thing. And I'm seeing like some of the resistance to this. When we span pretty far, from Sam and I lean more left and Ben leans more right, and you're what you would call a classic liberal, and Eric's very difficult to define, and Brett is fiercely progressive. I mean, Brett in particular, very left-wing guy, but this desire to label and to have this diminishing label, it's like alt-right or, right-wing, fascist. It's very strange to me.
Well, there's a couple of things going on. I think one of them is the technological transformation, and then the other is that I do believe that, especially for the radical leftist types, the whole notion of free speech among individuals is not only inevitable, but also something that isn't possible within their framework of reference. I've been trying to think this through very carefully, because free speech in some sense has become identified as a right-wing issue. How the hell did that happen? And I thought, oh yes, well,
if you're radically left and you're playing the identity politics game, there's actually no such thing as free speech because you're only the mouthpiece of your group, whether you know it or not. So you don't get to talk as Joe Rogan. You get to talk as like Joe Rogan, patriarchal white guy. That's it. And your utterances aren't a reflection of your own opinions as an individual, but they're an attempt on your part, whether you know it or not, to justify your position in the power hierarchy. And so everything right now, and this is where the technology, the death of the mainstream media, and this political polarization all unite. Everything is turned into a political conversation in the mainstream media, and it has to be cast as left versus right. And if you're criticizing the left, then all of a sudden you're right, and right wing, and it has to be about politics. It's like, well, it doesn't have to be about politics. It can be about philosophy. It doesn't have to be cast in political terms. And then it's also subject to a form of it's made more stupid than it has to be by these terrible bandwidth limitations. Like, I mean, I've been on mainstream TV talk shows, and it's a very strange experience because you're definitely content. You know, Marshall McLuhan said the media is the message, right? The media shapes the dialogue. It does it in a tremendous way, powerful way. You go on a TV talk show, and maybe it's an hour long, something like that. There's 5 guests, and you've got your 8 minutes, something like that. And you have to be bright and chipper and entertaining and intelligent, sort of glitzy, and it puts that facade of momentary charisma on you. And if you don't play that out, you actually fail. Because you can't start a long-form discussion when you've got 6 minutes. And if you're trying to talk about something that's deep and difficult, well, you want to talk about it because you've got the access and the opportunity, but you've got your 6 minutes. You can't help but turn into sort of a glitzy entertainer. And so it cheapens everything. And then the other thing that I think is happening is that as the mainstream media, television in particular, dies, the quality people are starting to discern, like rats leaving a sinking ship. Because they're good rats and they're quality people. But and then there's ever more enticement to use clickbait journalism to attract a diminishing portion of the remaining audience. You know, it's like one of the things that's happened. So if you look at the 5 major indices of violent crime in the United States, they've declined by 50% in 25 years. It's absolutely beyond comprehension. It's so good. This includes violent gun crime, by the way. And yet the reports of violence in media have gone up and up and up and up. Think, well, what's going on? It's like, well, it's clickbait. It's the equivalent of clickbait. And then to turn everything into a polarized political discussion takes no real intellectual energy. But it's also driven by the death spiral of the classic media, I think. And I think that's actually why the polarization seems to be so acute now. Some of it is genuine, but some of it is a consequence of this underlying technological transformation and the death throes of the smoke signals fundamentally. What you're talking about when you're saying people, especially radical leftists, have to concede certain points whenever they discuss this. This is so true, it's so important, because you see that play out over and over again. There's very little variation from the official narrative when they talk about important subjects or controversial subjects, whatever they are, whether it's transgender rights or whatever's in the news that's big and it's very popular right now. There's these certain things that you're not allowed to deviate. And that's an insanely restrictive perspective. And who's establishing these norms? Like, who's establishing them? Yeah, who is?
Well, I blame the universities largely, the activist discourse.
Yeah.
But that's only a partial answer because the universities are also responding to legislation like Title IX. So they've been driven into
Title
IX originally was just a piece of legislation that ensured that women would have equal access to sports events and so forth at the universities. That's what it was designed for, but it's become this umbrella legislation that pushes equality of outcome essentially across every possible dimension in the universities, and it's been used as a weapon by the radical left. But some of that's driven by legislative necessity. What's happening? The reason that I think this is coming from the universities is because I don't think that this could. Well, there's all these activist disciplines that are essentially subsidized by too high tuition fees and also by state funding, and they've produced an entire
substructure of activists. And those activists are doing everything they can to lay out a theoretical structure for the radical left. And that's a structure that involves, there's buzzwords, right? Diversity is one, but that means diversity by race and ethnicity and sexual preference, for example, as if those have anything to do with genuine diversity of ideation, and they don't, and there's no evidence that they do. Inclusivity, I'm never even sure what that means. Equity, which is a marker for, it's a code word in some sense for equality of outcome, which is an absolutely deadly doctrine. I think of all the mistakes that the radical left are making, and the moderate left for not calling them out on the equity doctrine is at the top of the list. And then there's other associated things like white privilege, that's a good one, and systemic bias, which is an absolute embarrassment from the perspective of a reasonable academic psychologist, because psychological tests have been used to prove that there's this implicit bias that lurks everywhere, and the tests aren't reliable and valid enough to make that claim. That's even the people who made the test, the implicit association test, have admitted, except for Oscar Banach, who's the chairman of the Department of Psychology at Harvard, they've admitted that the tests aren't reliable and valid enough to be used for the purposes they're being used for. And there's also no evidence at all that these unconscious bias retraining seminars have any effect whatsoever. It's positive. It's all nonsense pushed by this ideological fulminations of the radical left.
Is there any benefit in having these conversations, talking about implicit biases, and recognizing that there's an extreme pushback against racism or sexism and all these different things, and that even though these things, these ideas that they're pushing might not be tested and proven, the idea of putting it out there in the mainstream, that there's a shift in consciousness in terms of like how people will or won't accept racism or sexism or homophobia or whatever else is being discussed, that maybe it's far left, but maybe it's moving the needle towards where it needs to be.
I think that happens. I mean, I certainly believe that there's space and necessity for a constant dialogue between the left and the right. This is also something that I've been developing more particularly during these lectures. So I'm going to lay out a couple of propositions. So imagine that you have to move forward in the world. You have to do things. And the reason you have to do things is because, well, if you just sit there and don't do anything, then you suffer and die. So that isn't an option. You have to move forward. You have to move forward towards valued things. So you have to have a value hierarchy. It has to be hierarchy because one thing has to be more important than another, or you can't do anything, right? You're too split with your choices. So you have to do things. You have to value some things more than others. Then you have to act out what you value in the social environment, because you're a social creature and you're not going to do things alone. Then as soon as you start to act out things of value in the social environment, you inevitably produce a hierarchy. And the reason you do that is because no matter what you're acting out, some people are way better at it than others. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's basketball or hockey or plumbing or law. It doesn't matter. As soon as there's something valuable and you're doing it collectively, there's a hierarchy. Okay, so then what happens? Well, the hierarchy can get corrupt and rigid, and then it stops rewarding competence. It starts rewarding criminality and power. And so there's always the danger the hierarchy will become corrupt. The right-wingers say, we really need the hierarchies and we should abide by them. That's sort of the motif of patriotism and positive group identity. And the left-wingers say, yeah, but wait a second. There's a problem here. A, your hierarchy can get corrupt and might. And B, because some people are way better at it than others, you're going to produce a bunch of dispossessed people at the bottom. And that's not only not good for the dispossessed people, it actually threatens the whole hierarchy. So you have to be careful. You have to attend to the widows and the children, let's say, the widows and the orphans. Okay, so now you can think about that as an eternal problem. You can't do without hierarchies, but, and that's the right-wing claim in some sense, you can't do without hierarchies and they're valuable. But they're also prone to corruption and they dispossess people. Okay, so now that's an eternal problem. The question is, what do you do about it? And the answer to that is, there's no final answer to the problem. So what you have to do is you have to have a left wing and you have to have a right wing. And they have to talk all the time about whether the hierarchy is healthy and whether or not it's dispossessing too many people. And then the problem with that is that discussion can go too far. Because the right wingers can say, hierarchy overall is right. the state is correct and everything's right, and so that's the right-wing totalitarian types. And the left can say, we'll flatten everything so there's no inequality. And so both the left and the right can go too far. Now, the problem is we know how to define. I think one of the problems is we know how to define when the right goes too far. I think we learned that after World War II. I think if you're making claims of ethnic or racial superiority, you get to be put in a box and put off the shelf. Right? You're not in the dialogue anymore. It's obvious that the left can go too far, even though they're necessary participants in the discussion. But we don't know when to. We don't know how to define when they've gone too far. And you might think, well, that's the moderate leftists' problem. It's their moral responsibility to dissociate themselves from the radicals, just as it's the moral responsibility of reasonable conservatives to dissociate themselves from the John Birch and Ku Klux Klan types.
That's a very important point.
But it isn't just the moderate left's problem, because even the people on the right don't know what to point to when they say, no, you've gone too far as a leftist. Now, I've tried to. It's complicated because I think it might be more than one policy. I think the really deadly leftist presumption is equality of outcome. I think as soon as you start talking about equality of outcome, you should be put in a box and put off the shelf. But it isn't obvious why. Like, that doesn't sound like, white people overall. It doesn't have the same guttural punch that the excess of the right has. It's, right. Well, you're for equality of outcome. Why is that bad? Well, it's bad because when you play it out in society, and there's endless evidence for this, it's an instantaneously murderous doctrine. And I think it's because it shifts so quickly into a victimizer narrative. I've had a great opportunity in the last month and a half. I got asked to write the preface to the 50th anniversary edition of Solzhenitsyn's Gulag Archipelago. And so I've been writing that. And one of the things Solzhenitsyn did, which was one of the things that made that book arguably the greatest work of nonfiction of the 20th century, it's in the top 10 anyways, was to point out very clearly that the excesses of the Russian Revolution started right away. It wasn't that Lenin was a pretty good guy and that Stalin came in and corrupted everything. It's like Lenin was not a pretty good guy. The revolution got bloody really fast. What seemed to happen, so imagine you start to divide the world up into oppressor and oppressed, right? And you're going to do something about the oppressors. The problem is that you can define people multiple ways. This is the intersectionality problem. And almost everybody can be defined in terms of their group identity in some way that makes them an oppressor. So, like, if you're a black man, well, you could argue that you're oppressed because you're black, but what about the fact that you're a man? And so does that make you an oppressor or someone who's oppressed? And the answer is, as the revolution progresses, if there's any dimension along which you can be categorized as oppressor, you end up dead. And so that's part of the pathology of the equality of outcome.
What do you mean by that? Like, you end up dead?
You end up rounded up. You ended up being put into the oppressor camp, right? And so
there's only so far you can go with that, right? You can't put all men in the oppressor camp. There'd be no men left.
But that is
so you really think that's how it plays out.
Well, it is how it plays out.
When you look for equality of outcome.
Well, it is how it played out in the Soviet Union and China. In the Soviet Union, we don't know how many people died. The reasonable estimates look like about 25 million. That's dead. That's not in prison. That's in families destroyed. That's just dead. And in Mao's China, it might have approximated 100 million. That's just internal repression. And so what seems to happen as soon as you decide that the hierarchy is unfair because there are oppressors and oppressed, then you can go after the oppressors with moral virtue. But the problem is that there's almost no limit to the number of ways that you can categorize someone as an oppressor. The category just starts to expand. Like, the communists killed all the socialists. They killed all the religious people. They killed most of the students. They killed all the productive farmers. And they killed the productive farmers because they owned land, and maybe a little house and a few cows. I mean, to be a successful farmer in Russia at the turn of the 20th century didn't mean you were rich, right? It just meant you weren't starving. It's like they killed all those people because they were oppressors, because they had more than someone else.
That's how they defined it in order to get the people to rally against it.
Yes, and the definition kept slipping. Because, well, look, even now, it's like, well, let's say we rally against the 1%, and those would be the money owners, let's say. It's like, okay, who's in that group? Well, everybody in North America's in that group.
Worldwide, yeah.
Well, who sets the parameters, right?
It's like $34,000 a year. sets you in the 1% worldwide.
Right. So does that make all of us oppressors?
Basically, everybody who lives above poverty in America is in the 1% of the world.
Right. And also by historical standards.
Yeah.
And so the problem with the oppressor-oppressed narrative is that you can multiply the oppressors endlessly. And there's no end to going after them.
Right, and as soon as you make a definition, you can move the boundaries, and then the next person is the oppressor, and you keep going.
Well, and you also see the interesting thing, too, is that, and this is complicated, so I've been thinking about this proclivity of the left to destroy members of the moderate left. It's like there's the game, part of the game that's being played, as far as I can tell, the ideological and pathological game is, I'm more virtuous than you. Now, look, if you're on the radical left and you say, well, you're more virtuous than a right-winger, it's like, well, who cares? That's obvious because the right-wingers are pathological. So being more virtuous than them, that's not much of an attainment. But if I have my moderate leftist compatriot standing right beside me and he's pretty damn virtuous, but I'm even more virtuous than him, then that's a real attainment on my part. It's a moral attainment with no effort on my part. If I can figure out some way of classifying that previously virtuous person as an oppressor along some dimension, then all of a sudden I get an increment in my moral virtue. And that happened all the time in these leftist revolutions run amok. That was just a constant feature. So it's not good. It's not good.
Why is it, this is something that's always puzzled, why is it that the left is defined by, there's certain values, and one of them is when you look at the right, you automatically think of racism, potential racism at least, dislike for gay people, homophobia. There's certain qualities that are always attributed to conservatives, and then there's certain qualities that are, and these are social things, and that I'm not quite sure I understand. Like, why is it that the left is always associated in support of gay rights? The left is always associated in support of all races and all genders. And
well, I think it's the dispossessed issue again. So imagine that we make these hierarchies, and they're hierarchies that are devoted towards a goal, and that the sum total of all those hierarchies is something like the patriarchy. Even though I hate that word, and I don't think anybody should use it. I don't like that word at all. But that's we're speaking within the confines of that.
Defining how you're using it. What do you mean by the patriarchy?
Well, the patriarchy is the sum total of all Western hierarchies. Let's say it's the radical leftist vision of the sum total of all Western hierarchies.
But it's always male.
Well, that's the theory, is that it's male dominated. You know,
what is a patriarchy? Is a male word.
Well, and it's a funny thing because, of course, there's lots of sub-elements of the patriarchy that aren't male-dominated. So, for healthcare, for example, universities, the education system in general, there's lots of places where these sub-elements are female-dominated. So I don't know
what is defined as the patriarchy? To define healthcare?
Well, it's a good question, Joe. I don't know what happens. If you have a sub-element of the patriarchy that's dominated by women, is that still the patriarchy? It's like the structure's still intact, it's still performing the same function. Well, now the women are running it. Well, is that the patriarchy? And the answer to that is, well, we're all vague about what the definition is, so we don't need to address that issue. That's the answers.
Here's some clear ones, right? Like major corporations, the vast majority of CEOs are male.
Yeah.
We think of that as part of the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Government. Never been a male, never been a female president. The vast majority of senators, congressmen, etc. male.
Yeah, so I guess we could say, well, the patriarchy is all those elements of hierarchical structure that are still dominated by men.
Law enforcement, military, most male.
Right, but it's a peculiar definition,
right?
Because it means you have to fractionate the patriarchy into pieces. You can no longer talk about it as a uniform structure if you're going to take out all those pieces that are dominated by women and say, well, that's not the patriarchy. But the thing is that the whole concept is so ill-defined that it begars description.
But so is power, though, right? I mean,
that's the other thing. That's the claim. The other claim is that all hierarchies are predicated on power, which is a claim that's absolutely appalling. It's like plumbers. Are they part of the hierarchy? We've got roaming bands of armed, aggressive, tyrannical plumbers coming to your door saying, use our service or else. That's not how it works. When you go looking for a plumber, you go look for a massage therapist, you look for a surgeon for that matter, or a lawyer.
You go look for the person who's most competent. And one of the things the left can't tolerate is the idea that hierarchies are predicated in part even on competence, which they clearly are. The best predictors for success in Western hierarchies are intelligence and conscientiousness. Those are the best psychological predictors of success. They only account for about a third of the variation in success. Maybe a third is probably about right. So there's still lots of room for randomness and even for systemic discrimination. But the notion that our systems aren't predicated in part on competence is clearly wrong. Now, you asked a question about the left. It's like, why are the left always on the side of the people who don't fit in, let's say, or don't fit so easily in? And I think that is a matter of the consequence of hierarchical structures. Is that, so imagine in every hierarchy, there's some people who don't do very well in any given hierarchy. Then imagine across all the hierarchies that there's a subset of people who are very likely to not do well in any of them. So you might say, well, they're systemically discriminated against. The left would be on their side because they're on the side, even temperamentally, of the people who are dispossessed. And the thing about that is that it's valid. Look, we need a spokesperson politically for the dispossessed. That's what the Democratic Party used to do when they worked for the working class. Because the working class needed a political voice. It's like, okay, that's the Democrats. Why do they need a political voice? Well, to keep the hierarchy from degenerating into rigid tyranny. It's part of the political discussion. But now the problem is and this is the problem with the left, is that, well, what's the hierarchy? It's a tyrannical patriarchy. It's like, no, it's not. It's partly corrupt, like every system. But it's less corrupt than most systems, and there's a lot of elements of it that are devoted towards self-improvement and self-monitoring. You have to be a little nuanced and subtle about these sorts of things. And you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And the leftist rhetoric has got so intense that the idea is, and people believe this, well, the world is going to hell in a handbasket. Everything is getting worse in all possible ways, and there's systemic racism everywhere, and it's utterly unfair, and it should be torn down and rebuilt. It's like, no, it's actually functioning unbelievably well, even though it still has its problems. You know, and there's a big difference between saying there's systemic racism everywhere, and the reason that there isn't perfectly equal outcomes is because of prejudice, and saying, no, look, the system is functioning. No, let's say it's 75%. It's doing all right. It's got some problems, including systemic prejudice, which hopefully will work themselves out across time and which show every bit of evidence of doing so. And so we don't need a radical solution. You know, and one of the things I've started to do with my Twitter account is to tweet out good, non-naive news. Because one of the things that's happening in the world, and there's been half a dozen books on this or more written in the last 5 years by credible people, is that the distribution of the idea of individual sovereignty and property rights and free market economies, etc., out into the rest of the world is making the non-Western world, is making the non-Western world rich really, really, really fast. So between 2000 and 2012, the rate of absolute poverty in the world fell by half. It was the fastest period of economic development in human history. We beat the optimistic UN target by 3 years. Staggering. You know, the rates of child mortality in Africa are now lower than they were in Europe in 1950. The fastest growing economies in the world are in sub-Saharan Africa. Millions of people a month are getting access to this incredible technology that's embodied in cell phones. Right? People have access to fresh water like they've never had access before. Kids are getting immunized at a rate that's unprecedented, and yet we have this idea that's become rampant in the West that there's something ultimately corrupt about the patriarchal tyranny and that it has to be dismantled right down to its core. And a lot of that's being taught by the activist disciplines in universities, and I just don't get it. It's not acceptable. So they see these hierarchies, and their proposal to level everything off and to take away the insane power at the very top is equality of outcome. It's unproven in terms of it's never been done successfully to a utopian. Right. Well, I also don't even think you can do it in principle, because if you accept the proposition, the propositions I laid out, which is you have to pursue things of value, and if you pursue things in a
of value in a social space, so you do it cooperatively and competitively, you do it with other people, then you're going to produce differential outcome because people will be differently good at it.
Yes.
It's like, okay, you don't believe that? It's like, okay, do you listen to random selections of music online? Or do you do what everyone else does? You go for the 0.1% of songwriters, and you only listen to them. You only listen to you only read the productions of 0.1% of writers. You only listen to the podcasts of 0.1% of podcast broadcasters. Right? When you watch sports on TV, you only watch the athletic contributions of 0.1% of athletes. So, like, where's the equality exactly? Where's that in your life? You people who are pushing for equality of outcome. You manifest that in anything you do? You don't. You're unbelievably selective, just like everyone else. And the reason you're selective is because there are things that are happening that need to happen or that are entertaining and interesting, and you want the best in all of those realms. That's how it works. And there is a best. That's the other thing that's so painful. And that actually is painful. You know, here's a problem of dispossession, a real problem. One way to not do very well in any hierarchy is to have a low IQ. And so, IQ is normally distributed. And if you have an IQ of less than 85, it's hard for you to read well enough to follow instructions. That's about 10% of the population. It might even be higher than that. Okay, so given that lack, how are you going to compete? And the answer is, you're not. Because low IQ is a good predictor of poverty. Now they spiral because, you know, if you're cognitively, if you're less cognitively gifted, then and you have children, they're going to be in a less enriched environment. These things spiral, but you still have the essential problem. That's the essential problem of the dispossessed. It's like hierarchies are complex tools to attain necessary goals, but they dispossess people. What do we do with the people that they dispossess? The answer is, we don't know. So we have to talk about it constantly and figure out how to solve it, because it's an ongoing problem that transforms, and that's the reason that political dialogue is necessary. And then the danger is that the political dialogue will polarize into the radical left, no hierarchies whatsoever, or the radical right. Our hierarchy is 100% right at all costs. And so we have the internal problem, and those are the two poles that we have to negotiate between.
It's interesting because the accusation has always been that what the left is trying to do with this equality of outcome thing is sort of an infantilization of the populace, right? And the best example of that is sports. When you look at sports, clearly the best people win, right? The fastest runners win the race. The people that have the best strategy win the game. The that's a weird word, infantilization, I never get it right, but of that is what we do with children, where you get participation trophies and no one wins. You know, when my daughter was 3 years old, she was in soccer, and they didn't keep score, but everyone knew. Everyone knew these kids scored, and they didn't. At the end of the game, they didn't announce a winner.
Well, you can't have a soccer game without keeping score.
Yeah. It's
not a soccer game anymore. It's something else.
But the score was kept.
Of course.
It just wasn't discussed.
Of course.
It was the strangest thing. But this is to treat these little kids because they couldn't handle it. Yeah. You know, she cried when the other team scored. I'm like, it feels bad when they score, so it feels good when you score. It's very difficult to say that to a 3-year-old.
Right.
So, is she going to run hills? Is she going to practice drills so that she feels that good feeling more? And then there's a point where that becomes too far. There's a point where you become an obsessive over winner, right? And this is the people that want to crush their enemies. Then you become Conan the Barbarian. This is the far end of it, and this is what the left is terrified of, right?
Yeah.
The idea of the left is the demure, the soft, the people that are kinder and gentler. The idea of the right is the conqueror. People that, you know, they work hard, play hard, go kick ass, go America, that kind of shit. And so these are the type of people that are going to be crueler. They're going to do what it takes to win. And the people that you would consider that would like equality of outcome are the people that are trying to slow that down. Does this make sense?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's how it lays itself out temperamentally.
Psychologically.
Yeah.
This is the motivation for it.
Yes. And it's and the radical left is compassion gone mad. Although it's also envy. Let's not forget about that.
Envy.
Well, absolutely.
Yes.
One reason to stand up for the dispossessed is because you're empathetic. and empathy is not an automatic good. This is something we make a big mistake about. We think, well, I'm feeling sorry for you, therefore I'm good. It's like, no, I might be feeling too sorry for you. I might not be demanding enough of you. So, and that's the terrible devouring mother, from a psychoanalytic perspective. Yes. Oh, everything you do, dear, is okay. It's like, no, it's not. Right. So one of the things that Jean Piaget, the developmental psychologist, he was very interested in figuring out a way out of this, and it's very much relevant to your concept you're talking about athletics. Okay, so imagine this, because this is also something that points the way to a proper morality, which was actually something that Jean Piaget was very concerned about. He wanted to reconcile the distinction between religion and science. That's actually what drove him. Even though people don't know that, he was arguably the world's greatest developmental psychologist. So here's the idea. You know how you tell your kid to be a good sport? You say, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, it matters how you play the game. Okay, so I've been unpacking that in my lectures because it's really, really complicated. It's like, you tell your kid that, and they look at you and they think, well, what do you mean by that? Aren't I supposed to try to win? It's a soccer game, I'm supposed to win. And you say, oh yeah, you're supposed to win, but it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, it matters how you play the game. You know that that's right, but you don't know how to explain it to your kid. You say, well, you want to be a good sport. Okay, so imagine this. This is how it works, and this is crucially important. So, first of all, life is not a game. Even a game is not a game. Because a game is, most of the time, a game is the beginning of a series of games. So let's say that you're on a soccer team. Well, there's winning the game, but the game isn't the issue. The game is the whole series of games. So maybe the game is winning the championship. And winning the championship and winning that game are not the same thing. And the reason for that is, well, maybe if you want to win a game, the best thing to do is to let your star player make all the moves. But if you want to win a championship, maybe the best thing is for your star player to do everything he or she possibly can to develop all the other team members. That's a different strategy. And the reason it's different is because it iterates across time. Okay, so I'll tell you a quick story. So when my kid was playing hockey, when he was about 12 or so, he was in the championship game, just at a local arena, and it was really fun to watch. The teams were pretty equal, which is something that you want, so that everybody can expand their skills while they're playing. And it was like 5 seconds to the end of the game, and the other team made a breakaway and came down. The guy came down the ice and scored. It was a beautiful goal, and it was 4-3, and that was the end of it, right? And on my kid's team, there was the kid who was the star. He was a pretty good hockey player. He came off the ice, and he was very annoyed about what had happened. He smashed his stick on the cement and was complaining about the referee and acting as if he'd been robbed. And his father came up, and instead of saying, get your act together, kid, that's no way to display yourself after a loss, he said, oh yeah, man, you were robbed, and the referees didn't ref right, and you played the best, and you should have won. And I thought, you absolute son of a bitch, you're ruining your son. And then the question is why? Because his son was the star and was trying to win. Why was he ruining his son? Well, you're trying to train your son not to win the game. You're trying to train your son to win the championship. And so that's a series of games. But then life isn't the championship. Life is a whole bunch of championships. It's a whole sequence of them. And so what you're actually trying to train your son to do is to be a contender in the entire series. And the way you do that is by helping him develop his character. And the character is actually the strategy that would enable him to win the largest number of games across the largest possible span of time. And one way you do that if you're a kid is like, well, what do you want to do with your kid? You don't want to teach him to win. You want to teach him to play well with others. And that's to be reciprocal. So that means to try to win, but also to pay attention to developing the other people around him, and not to put winning the game above everything at all times. So then he's fun to play with. And this is absolutely crucial. You can help your kid become fun to play with between the ages of 2 and the age of 4. If your kid is fun to play with, then what happens? Kids line up to play with him. And adults line up to teach him. And if kids line up to play with him, then he'll have friends his whole life. And he'll be socialized. And he'll be invited to many games, some of which he'll win, all of which he'll be able to participate in. And if he's fun to play with, then adults will teach him things. And then he wins at life. And so when you say to your kid, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, it matters how you play the game, what you're saying is, don't forget, kid, that what you're trying to do here is to do well at life. And you need to practice the strategies that enable you to do well at life while you're in any specific game. And you're never going to compromise your ability to do well in life for the sake of winning a single game. And there's a deep ethic in that, and it's the ethic of reciprocity in games. Part of the reason that we're so obsessed with sports is because we like to see that dramatized, you know? Like, the person we really admire as an athlete isn't only the person who wins. We don't like the narcissistic winners. They're winners, and that's a plus. But if they're narcissistic, they're not good team players. They're only out for themselves. Then we think, well, you're a winner in the narrow sense, but your character is suspect. You're no role model, even though you're a winner. And it's because we're looking for something deeper. We're looking for that, the manifestation of character that allows you to win across the set of possible games. And that's a real thing. That's a real ethic. It's a fundamental ethic.
I think what you're pointing out that's very important is we're searching for the person who's got it all nailed. Someone who tries their hardest, but is also honest enough about the circumstances to not cry foul when it's gone the other person's way.
Yeah, well, that's part of resilience, right? Like, you're not going to win it. You're not going to score on every shot.
Right.
Doesn't mean you shouldn't take the shots. Doesn't mean you shouldn't try to hit the goal. But part of being able to continue to take shots is to have the strength of character to tolerate the fact that in that instance you weren't on top.
It's more trivial in games than it is in fights, and it's also the response is much more negative from the fans if you lose a fight and complain about it. It's ruthless because they understand that you've made a huge character error.
Yeah, so why do you think it's more important in fights than it is in games? Why do you think it's
because the consequences are so great? Because you recognize that the high is much higher and the lows are much lower. To lose a basketball game sucks, but it's nothing like losing a fight. There's no comparison. It's not even close.
So what do you think it is that damages the fighter if he complains about losing? Why is that a mistake? Why do the fans respond so negatively to that?
Because they know. They know that you lost. They know that you're complaining for no reason and you're not a hero. They want you to be better than them. They want you to be the person that has the courage to step into a cage or a ring or wherever whatever the format is you're competing, and to do something that's extremely difficult. And when you do that, they hold you to a higher standard.
Right. To lose with grace.
Yes, and when you fall, especially if you were a champion, that is one of the most disappointing things ever. When a champion complains.
Right.
And it is, okay, so the response is horrific from the audience.
Okay, so that's a great example. So let's imagine, what does the person who loses something important with grace do? And the answer is fairly straightforward. He accepts the defeat and thinks, okay, what is it that I have left to improve that will decrease the possibility of a similar defeat in the future?
Yes.
Right? So what he's doing is, because the great athlete and the great person is not only someone who's exceptionally skilled at what they do, but who's trying to expand their skills at all times.
Yes.
And the attempt to expand their skills at all times is even more important than the fact that they're great to begin with, because the trajectory is so important.
More important in particular to the audience. It's extremely important to the audience because you are the person who's competing. You are expecting them to live out this life in a perfect way or in a much more powerful way than you're capable.
Yes, and so part of that is the skill, because they put in the practice, but part of that also is the willingness to push the skill farther into new domains of development with each action. And that's really what people like to watch, right? They don't like to watch a perfect athletic performance. They like to watch a perfect athletic performance that's pushed into the domain of new risk. They want to see both at the same time. You're really good at what you do and you're getting better. Okay, so you lose a match, which is not any indication that you're not good at what you do. You might not be as good as the person who beat you. But if you lose the match and then whine, what you've done is sacrifice the higher order principle of constant improvement of your own skills. Because you should be analyzing the loss and saying, the reason I lost, insofar as it's relevant to this particular time and place, is the insufficiencies I manifested that defeated me. And I need to track those insufficiencies so that I can rectify them in the future. And if I'm blaming it on you or the referees or the situation, then I'm not taking responsibility and I'm not pushing myself forward. So then you also take the meaning out of it. Like, one of the things I've been doing on my tour, people are criticizing me to some degree for saying things to people that are obvious. Well, first of all, it's not like I didn't bloody well know they were obvious. When I wrote those rules, the rules in my book, for example, stand up straight with your shoulders back, treat yourself like you're someone responsible for helping. It's like, I know perfectly well that those can be read as cliches. The question is, cliche, let's say, is something that's so true that it's become it's widely accepted by everyone. Well, but we don't know why it's true anymore. And so this issue, the issue that we're talking about here, the issue of being good sport, we need to figure out why that's true. And the reason that it's true is that you're trying to push your development farther than you've already developed at every point in time, and that's the proper moral attitude. So when you see an athletic performance where someone is pushing themselves beyond what they are, you see someone dramatizing the process of proper adaptation. It isn't the skill itself, it's the extension of the skill. When you see someone acting like a bad sport, then they're sacrificing that. And so they're sacrificing the higher for the lower. And no one likes that. In the fights, it's got to be... See, the question is, that's the thing I can't quite figure out, is why that would be even exaggerated in a fight situation. And you said it's because the stakes are so high.
Yeah, the consequences of victory or defeat, they're just so much greater. There's... Your health is on the line. It's one of the rare things that you do where your health is on the line, your physical health.
Right. So the more extreme victories and more extreme defeats, and so the morality that's associated with defeat is more extreme.
Exactly.
Because there's more line. Yeah, exactly. That makes sense.
And the way people treat the champions, it's a very different thing. It's the respect and adulation that a champion receives. It's the pinnacle of sports in terms of the love from the audience. When someone wins a great fight, there's nothing like it. And this is one of the reasons why these people are willing to put their health on the line, because that high, the high of victory, and it's not just a victory. It's who said that victory is really the victory over the lesser you. It's the victory over...
That's always the victory.
Yes.
Yeah.
The victory is over... You've got to realize, a guy like Stipe Miocic, who defends his heavyweight title this weekend in the UFC, he's the heavyweight champion of the world, but he's not undefeated. He lost in his career. He's lost a couple of times, and I'm sure he lost wrestling matches and sparring sessions in the gym and all. And he's a product of improvement.
Right.
He's a product of discipline and hard work and thinking and strategy and constantly improving upon his skills. And so because of that, he's the baddest man on the planet.
So in my book, Rule 4 is, this is 12, excuse me, this is from 12 Rules for Life. Rule 4 is, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today.
Yes.
Because you need to have a hierarchy of improvement. You need to be aiming for something, and that means you're going to be lesser than people who've already attained along that dimension.
Yes.
And that can give rise to envy. So the question is, who should you defeat in the final analysis? And the answer is, you should defeat your former self. You should be constantly trying to do that. And you're the right control for yourself, too, because you're the one who's had all your advantages and disadvantages. And so if you want to compete fairly with someone, then you should be competing with you. And it is the case, and this is what we were talking about, too, with regards to the self-improvement of the fighter, is, well, if you're improving yourself, then what you are doing is competing with your lesser self. And then you might also ask, well, what is that lesser self? And that lesser self would be resentful and bitter and aggressive and vengeance-seeking and all of those things that go along with having a negative moral character. And those are things that interfere with your ability to progress as you move forward through life. So it's very necessary to understand that. This is why, I've been stressing this idea of personal responsibility. It's like, well, personal responsibility is to compete with yourself, is to be slightly better than yourself the next day. Yeah. And it's better in some way that you can actually manage, and that's humility. It's right, like, well, I'm a flawed person. I've got all my problems. Could I be as good as person X? It's like, not the right question. The right question is, could you be slightly better tomorrow than your currently flawed self? And the answer to that is, if you have enough humility to set the bar properly low, then you could be better tomorrow than you are today. Because what you also have to do is you have to say, well, here's all my flaws and my insufficiencies, and the best that someone that flawed and insufficient could do to improve and actually do it is this. And that's not worth going out in the street and celebrating with placards. It's like, well, this is why I tell people to clean their room. It's not going to brag to someone that you did that. But someone as insufficient as you might be able to manage it. And that means you actually are on the pathway to self-improvement, and you're transcending your former self. And you might say, well, what's the right way of being in the world, if there is such a thing? And it's not acting according to a set of rules. It's attempting continually to transcend the flawed thing that you currently are. And what's so interesting about that is that the meaning in life is to be found in that pursuit. So I've been laying that out in these discussions too, because it's saying, well, the fundamental issue is that life is tragic and difficult, very tragic and difficult for everyone. And it's also tainted by malevolence, because no matter how things are tragic and difficult, but there's always some stupid thing that you could do or someone else could do that could make it even worse than it has to be. So that's life. And you need an antidote to that, because that can embitter you. Constant contact with that. Just the tragedy, but the tragedy combined with betrayal and malevolence, that makes it even worse, especially if it's self-induced. Okay, so you need something to set against that so you don't get bitter and resentful. Well, what do you set against that? Doing something worthwhile. By your own definition, say you need some reason to get the hell out of bed on a terrible day because you've got something good to do. Well, what's the best thing you can do? Transcend your current wretched and miserable self. There's meaning to be found in that. That's a meaning that's associated with responsibility. One of the things that I've been trying to lay out clearly is that life is hard. It's tainted by malevolence and betrayal. That can make you bitter. You need a meaning to offset that. Where's the meaning to be found? Not in rights, not in impulsive pleasure, but in responsibility. You take responsibility for yourself, so you take care of yourself. If you're good at it, you have some excess left over to take care of your damn family. If you're good at both of those, then you have some excess left over to take care of your community. Those are heavy burdens. You pick up the burdens, you find that's meaningful. The best way to pick up the burden is to continually improve yourself. And that's where the meaning is to be found. And so that meaning is in the continual self-transcendence. That's letting your old self die and the new self be reborn. Did you watch When We Were Kings? Ellie and Frasier? Yeah. God, that's an amazing movie. Right at the end of it, so Ellie defeats Frasier basically by letting him defeat himself, right? Because Frasier is angry and he's got a chip on his shoulder and he doesn't conduct the fight properly. So he exhausts himself chasing Ellie. And Ellie has basically just trained himself to take the damn blows, right? And to wear Frasier out. That's his plan. Then right at the end of the movie, he knocks Frasier down. And it's pretty much the end of the fight, but Frasier sort of struggles to his feet. He's just getting up off the mat, and Ellie's got his hand pulled back to just nail him because he's completely laid open, and he puts his glove down and turns away. That's the end of the fight. And Frasier said, and this is true as far as I know, that fight tamed him. Like, Frasier had a big chip on his shoulder. He was a kind of a dreadful guy up till that fight, and afterwards he was affable and he was civilized. Ellie's civilized. And so, but that gesture that Ellie made was that great gesture, because he could have flattened him, right? And he had every reason to, man. He got taken apart. Ellie took punches like mad in that fight. And then in the final analysis, when he had Frasier down and he was struggling to his feet, he just let him go, man. Nobility of character right there. Something impressive to behold. So,
why are you defining people, like when you're saying this, why are you saying your miserable, wretched life? Because there's a lot of people that don't have miserable, wretched lives that also just want to improve. Like, why does it have to be the worst case scenario in order to...
Because it has to work. It has to work. The theory has to work in the worst case scenario.
Okay.
That's why.
So using the worst case scenario as an
example. Yeah.
Because do you think that perhaps may alienate someone who doesn't have the worst case scenario?
No, I don't think so. Because it depends on how much time you have to outline the ideas. But because even if things are going pretty well for you now, there's going to be a time in the future where things are rough. You're going to be ill. Family members going to be ill. The dream is going to fall apart. You're going to be uncertain about your employment status. Like, the flood is coming, right? The apocalypse is coming. It's always the case in life. And you have to be prepared for it. And the question is how to prepare for it. And the answer to that is to find a way of being that works even under the direst of circumstances. That's the issue. And so you outline, and I am pessimistic about this in my approach in some sense, because when I'm talking to my audiences, and the same thing happened in my book, Maps of Meaning, and in 12 Rules for Life, I'm laying out the worst case scenario. And that's sort of like hell. It's things are going really badly for you. And there's just chance associated with that sometimes. And you and the people around you are doing stupid things to make it worse. It's like, okay, what have you got under those circumstances? You've got the possibility to slowly raise yourself up. You've got the possibility to do just what the fighter does when he's defeated, which is to say, well, regardless of the circumstances that might have led to my defeat, Even if there were errors on the part of the referee, this is no time to whine about it. This is a time to take stock of what I did wrong so that I can improve it into the future. And that's the right attitude. You know, in the Old Testament, one of the things that's really interesting about the Old Testament stories is in the Old Testament, the Jews keep getting walloped by God. It's like they struggle up and make an empire, and then they just get walloped. And then it's all crushed, and they're out of it for generations. And then they struggle back up and make an empire, and then they get demolished again. And it happens over and over and over. And the attitude of the Old Testament Hebrews is, we must have made a mistake. It's never to shake their fist at the sky and curse fate. It's never that. The presupposition is, if things aren't working out, it's my fault. And that's a hell of a presupposition. And you might say, well, of course, you know, that underestimates the degree to which there's systemic oppression, et cetera, and the vagaries of fate. It's like, it doesn't underestimate it. It's not the point. The point is, your best strategic position is, how am I insufficient and how can I rectify that? That's what you've got. And the thing is, you are insufficient and you could rectify it. Both of those are within your grasp. If you aim low enough. One of the things
why do you see that? That's another thing you keep saying, aim low enough. Have a low enough bar. Why do you mean that?
Well, let's say you've got a kid and you want the kid to improve. You don't set them a bar that's so high that it's impossible for them to attain it. You take a look at the kid and you think, okay, this kid's got this range of skill. Here's a challenge we can throw at him or her that exceeds their current level of skill, but gives them a reasonable probability of success. And so, like I'm saying in tongue-in-cheek to some degree, you know, it's like, but I'm doing it as an aid to humility. It's like, well, I don't know how to start improving my life. Someone might say that. And I would say, well, you're not aiming low enough. There's something you could do that you are regarding as trivial, that you could do, that you would do, that would result in an actual improvement. But it's not a big enough improvement for you, so you won't lower yourself enough to take the opportunity.
Incremental steps.
Yes.
And so this is also what is achieved through exercise. It's one of the most important.
Well, what do you do when you go and lift weights? You don't go, like if you have a bench press before, you don't put 400 pounds on the damn bar and drop the bar through your skull. Right. You know, you think, look, when I started working out when I was a kid, I was weighed about 130 pounds and I was 6'1". I was a thin kid and I smoked a lot. I wasn't in good shape. Wasn't in good physical shape. And I went to the gym and it was bloody embarrassing. You know, people would come over and help me with the goddamn weights. Here's how you're supposed to use this. You know, it was humiliating. And maybe I was pressing 65 pounds or something at that point. You know, but what am I going to do? I'm going to lift up 150 pounds and injure myself right off the bat? No, I had to go in there, strip down, and put my skinny goddamn self in front of the mirror and think, son of a bitch, there's all these monsters in the gym. Been lifting weights for 10 years, and I'm struggling to get 50 pounds off the bar. Tough luck for me, but I could lift 50 pounds. And it wasn't very long until I could lift 75. Well, you know how it goes. But I never injured myself when I was weightlifting. And the reason for that was I never pushed myself past where I knew I could go. And I pushed myself a lot. You know, I gained 35 pounds of muscle in about 3 years in university. I kind of had to quit because I was eating so goddamn much I couldn't stand it. I was eating like 6 meals a day. It was just taking up too much time. But there's a humility in determining what it is that the wretched creature that you are can actually manage. Aim low. And I don't mean don't aim. And I don't mean don't aim up. But you have to accept the fact that you can set yourself a goal that you can attain. And there's not going to be much glory in it to begin with. Because if you're not in very good shape, the goal that you could attain tomorrow isn't very glorious. But it's a hell of a lot better than nothing. And it beats the hell out of bitterness. And it's way better than blaming someone else. It's way less dangerous. And you could do it. And what's cool about it, there's a statement in the New Testament. It's called the Matthew Principle. And economists use it to describe how the economy of the world works. To those who have everything, more will be given. From those who have nothing, everything will be taken. It's like what's very pessimistic in some sense, because it means that as you start to fail, you fail more and more rapidly. But it also means that as you start to succeed, you succeed more and more rapidly. And so you take an incremental step. Well, now you could lift 55 pounds instead of 52.5 pounds. You think, well, what the hell is that? It's like, it's one step on a very long journey. And so it starts to compound. So a small step today puts you in a position to take a slightly bigger step the next day. And then that puts you in a position to take a slightly bigger step the next day. You do that for 2 or 3 years, man. You're starting to stride. You know, and I have so many people coming up to me now. This is one of the things that's so insanely fun about this tour, which is so positive. It brings me to tears regularly. It's mind-boggling. Because people come up to me, and this is happening wherever I go now, and they say, they're very polite when they come and talk to me. You know, they're always apologetic for interrupting. So it's never narcissistic, and it's never annoying. I'm really happy to see people. And they come up to me and they say, well, I know you've heard this lots of times before, but I've really been putting my life together since I've been watching your lectures. And they tell me a story about where they were in some dark place, too much alcohol, too much drugs, not getting along with their father, not getting along with their mother, not having a vision for their life, being nihilistic, playing too many video games, you know, like being suicidal, that happens a lot, having post-traumatic stress disorder sometimes as a consequence of combat, whatever little slice of hell they were occupying. They say, look, I've been listening to your lectures, and I've been developing a vision for my life. And I've been trying to take responsibility, and I've been trying to tell the truth, and things are way better. And so that's absolutely perfect. It's the right way forward as far as I'm concerned. And those are people who, they took stock of themselves. They said, I'm in a dark place, and I'm a dark person. And here's some things that this dark person in this dark place could do. Little things that they could actually do. I'll clean up my damn room. I'll make my bed. I don't know how many people have come and told me. It's so strange. He said, well, I started making my bed, and that made all the difference. It's like, well, yeah, you decided to aim up, man. And the first concrete instantiation of that was that you made your bed. And you think, well, that's nothing heroic. It's like, no, but aiming up is heroic. That's something. And then lowering yourself to the point where you're not above the mess in your room. You know, you're not superordinate to that. You lower yourself so that you straighten up. You're grateful for what you have right in front of you, and you take care of it, and you put it in order. It's like all of a sudden things start to get better. It's so wonderful to be doing this tour, because I see that's what this tour has been about for me. It's not political. I never talk to people after the talks, for example. I talk to about 150 people a night. We never talk about anything political. It's always this. I wasn't doing very well. I'm putting my life together. I'm getting along better with my father. I'm getting along better with my wife. I'm getting along better with my kids. I've got some meaning in my life. Thanks a lot. It's way better. Yes, that's the right thing.
It's very beneficial for people, and they need to hear that. And there's something that comes along with that that's critical. What that is an honest assessment of yourself. An honesty, that type of honesty with yourself, it's very difficult for some people, and they don't have the tools for it, and they haven't been explained how to do this.
Or why you should.
Yeah, one of the things that happens when you go through school, you're told what to do, you're never told how to think.
You're also told that you're okay the way you are. That's self-esteem.
Yeah.
You're okay the way you are. It's like, no, you're not. And this is another thing that
you are and you're not. Right. You're okay as a human. Look, if you want to be a black belt in jiu-jitsu and you just started your first class, you're okay as you are. You're a human. But in the goal, you're not okay. In the greater goal, the incremental improvement is important. You have to honestly assess your position and move forward.
Yeah, well, that's it. Your position and the trajectory.
Yes.
Right. And when you say to someone, you're okay because of your position, that's not good enough, because you have to say, well, wait a second, you need a trajectory. And maybe you're okay if you're okay in your position and your trajectory. But, you know, the self-esteem movements and all of that will accept yourself the way you are. It's like, no, because you need a trajectory. And one of the things that I think, one of the reasons that audiences are responding to what I've been saying in my lectures and what I've been writing about is that I don't tell people that they're okay the way they are. No, I say, no, you could be way more than you are. And they're relieved about that, you see, because if you're in a dark and terrible place and someone says you're okay the way you are, then you don't know what to do about that. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm having a terrible time, and I'm hopeless. You're okay the way you are. Well, then what? That's it? That's where I am? And what do you want to tell a young person? You're 17. You're okay the way you are. It's like, no, you're not. You got 60 years to be better. And you could be way better. You could be incomparably better across multiple dimensions. And in pursuing that better, that's where you find the meaning in your life. And that will give you the antidote to the suffering.
The way I always describe it to people is there are disciplines that you can pursue, and those disciplines are a vehicle for developing human potential. And if you get better at these things, you can get better at anything. And if you figure out what it takes to become better at whatever sport it is, or whatever art it is, whatever you're pursuing, the same principles you can apply to the way you treat people, you can apply to the way you educate yourself, you can apply to the way you keep your body in shape. All those things are connected.
That's why you have to impose order. People have asked me in my book why I wrote it as an antidote to chaos. Because, well, there isn't anything technically wrong with chaos. Chaos is a place of great potential. Well, the question is, what's the proper balance between chaos and order? Chaos, potential, and order. Well, the answer is, look, when you're a kid, you're all potential. It's chaotic potential. It can manifest itself in any number of ways. And maybe you don't want to give that up. So you're like Peter Pan. You want to be a kid forever because you don't want to give up the potential. And you look out in the world and all you see are Captain Hooks, who've lost a hand, who are chased by death because that's the cloak and the crocodile. It's already got a taste of it. He's terrified by death and he's a tyrant. Well, I don't want to grow up to be that. So I won't be disciplined at all. Well, that's no good. Because the way the potential transforms itself into actuality is through discipline. And so then as you said, this is the trick though. You have to pick a path of discipline. What path of discipline you have to pick is a different issue. There could be a rule. The rule might not be follow this rule. The rule might be you have to follow some rules. So it's a meta rule. And the meta rule is you have to discipline yourself. And the issue is, well, how? That's not really the relevant question. You can pick a disciplinary path. That's why I often tell my clients, especially young people, they say, well, I don't know what to do. It's like, that's okay. Nobody does. Go do something. Do the best thing that you can think of. Put the best plan you have into practice. It's not going to be perfect, and it will change along the way. But it will change partly because you become disciplined pursuing the path. And as you become disciplined, you become wiser. And as you become wiser, you become able to formulate better and better plans. So you can start vaguely and confused and develop a plan that's not so great, and you start to implement it, and then you accrue incremental wisdom as you implement your flawed plan, and that enables you to fix the plan. So that's part of that process of incremental self-improvement as well.
One of the more difficult aspects of that is personal honesty, being honest with yourself, about what you're doing, self-assessment. It's very difficult for people. They're never taught it. It's not something that's encouraged.
No, and it's dismal. I mean, imagine you only have $100,000 to go buy a house. And so you go look at this house, and it's like, Jesus, this house, man, it's like it needs a lot of work. It's like, well, that's all you've got. Well, are you going to pretend that the house is okay the way it is? Or are you going to look for where it's rotten, and where the plumbing doesn't work, and where the stove doesn't work? You have to go and look and see where everything needs to be fixed. And that's like, that is harsh, man. And then in order to do that properly, someone has to have taught you. It's, look, you aren't your problems. Who you are. You're most fundamentally that which, if it confronts its problems, can solve them. And that's the hero in a nutshell, by the way. The hero is the person who confronts horrible, chaotic potential and tames it and makes something of it, right? That's the fundamental human story. But the problem is that you have to face what you don't want to face in order to fix it.
Yeah.
And so you look at all the things about yourself that need to be burned off, that need to be dispensed with. And that, man, especially at the beginning, especially if you're screwed up, that might be like 95% of you just has to go up in flames. And it's painful. Even some of that stuff that you have to burn off doesn't want to die. It'll scream in agony while you're burning it off. It's not pleasant. But if you know that you're the thing that can transcend your problems, most fundamentally, if you know you're the thing that, if it faces the problems, can transcend them, then you have the faith that would enable you to take stock of who you are.
And you have to do that in small steps, because most people don't have experience in transcending their problems, so they really don't know what it even feels like. It seems like an alien concept. It seems like something other people can do. But if you do it incrementally, you can show yourself that you can do it. I mean, it's one of the reasons why they have belt systems in martial arts. You start off slow. Oh my God, I got a stripe on my white belt. Oh my God, I'm a blue belt. You feel improvement. Yeah, for some people, it's the first real improvement, marked, absolute improvement in their life.
Yeah, right. Well, and then that's an interesting thing, too, because right there you've got a bit of a measurement system. We have this system set up online called the Future Authoring Program. And last time we implemented it, because we've tested it 3 times, we implemented it at Mohawk College in Canada. And we had people write about their ideal future, and also to put in measurement strategies. It's like, okay, here's your ideal future. Here's how you're going to break it into goals. Here's how you're going to mark progress towards those goals. Because you've got to be playing a fair game with yourself, right? Because when you make progress, you want to reward yourself. So you have to identify what the progress is, and you have to reward it. The consequence, we had people write a future plan for only an hour. They came for their school orientation in the summer before going to, it's a community college. And it dropped the dropout rate among young men by 50%. And it's, yeah, no kidding, 50%, yeah. And what that meant was, to me, just think about that. What that means is that these kids have been educated for 12 years and no one had ever sat them down and said, okay, what the hell are you doing? Why? And how are you going to get, like, where do you want to go? Why do you want to get there? How are you going to get there? How are you going to mark your progress? You've never walked them through that exercise. You walk people through that exercise just to get them to do that. Increases the probability that they'll stay on track by 50%.
That's incredible. Well, it's one of the things I've always complained about is that people teach you facts. They don't teach you how to approach life. They don't teach you how to think. They don't teach you how to confront insecurities and different traps that your mind will set up for you.
Yeah, well, that's partly what's so fun about doing this lecture tour, because that's exactly what I'm talking to people about. One of the things I talk about is, well, why do you think? Why bother thinking? It's like, you think, well, that's obvious. It's like, no, actually, it's not so obvious. It's like the issue that I discuss with my students at university a lot is, well, why write a good essay? Why bother? Well, to get the grade. It's like, no, that's not why. And if you think that, well, that's better than not thinking that there's any reason for writing, but it's a bad reason. Why write? Well, writing is a form of thinking. It's actually the most demanding form of thinking, I would say. There's other forms that are demanding. So how do you write a good essay? Pick a topic that matters to you. Because if you're not writing about something that matters to you, it's like you're not living something that's meaningful. It's wrong. You're not going to write a good essay because you're wrong right to begin with. It has to matter to you. Well, why does it matter? What does it mean that it matters? Well, it means that